hours late's not too bad.
Well, it's not even late.
That's 5:30.
Okay, it's fine.
Well,
In
come
the
on,
morning
do it
session.
now.
Tell me when we're ready and I'll.
That was not anything.
Just added time to
But the construction is amazing.
Son, my
Across the
Oh,
board.
son-in-law's gonna have to
Well,
have
you
a
can't go
procedure
to
done.
Yeah, but daughters, I've never driven on so many new roads.
63
Well, they don't do it one time a year.
Suddenly he's going through the same thing. She's feeling a lot better because I've already gone through it.
She kind of knows what to expect.
Yeah.
Hey,
David walked in.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. As soon as he sits down, we're ready.
Did somebody get you?
okay. It's 5:30, Wednesday, July 16th. Location is City Hall, Council Chambers, 1103 West Main Street. Can we have a call to order, please?
Roll call. Council President Kaiser,
Here.
Councilman O'Hara,
Here.
Councilman Chris Jansen,
Here.
Councilman Murphy.
Indeed.
Okay, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Jenica Reynolds will be leading us in prayer, please.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for this opportunity that we have to be able to come together as citizens and as city council and mayor and on behalf of our city of Middleton. We're grateful for all those that put forth such diligent work on our behalf. We pray that as we review and discuss the items on the agenda tonight, that our hearts and minds can be opened in understanding of the things that we can do that will best serve and support our residents. We are grateful for this land that we live in, for the freedoms that we have, for the opportunity to be able to express our thoughts in respectful and thoughtful ways, that we might be able to come to consensus and to greater understanding. We pray that we can have Thy Spirit with us this evening, and we pray for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, council, before us we have an agenda. Any questions on the said agenda? All right, then I move that we approve the agenda posted July 14th at 7:55 a.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we have public comment on non-public hearing items of city business. 3 minutes will be allowed for each patron to speak at the podium based on sign-in sheet posted in the back of the public meeting room. Their signature. Okay. Budget workshop, discussion on building fee schedule regarding inspector service contracts. Building official, Mr. Wiesner.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before I begin, I'd like to request if I could speak to both budget workshop item and also the action item number 4. I have a little bit of a presentation to put forth. So hoping to get your approval on that.
I'm okay with it. How's the council feel?
That's fine.
Okay.
Mayor and Council, I'm Stephen Wise, I'm building official for Middleton's Department of Building Safety. I have just a little bit of introduction to provide some context and background for the agenda items I have before you today. As well as some information just to put out to the general public, again, to give context to these proposals. So essentially, the building department is also known as the Department of Building Safety per the Idaho Building Code and the International Building Code. And so there's definitely a safety aspect, a major safety aspect to what we do in my department. And so just real quickly, I wanted to read the mission statement we have on our website. The mission and purpose of Middleton's Department of Building Safety is to promote public life safety, health, and general welfare within the city's built environment. This is accomplished through the efficient and consistent administration of adopted Idaho state building codes and standards. Building codes contribute to safe and sustainable construction, supports quality of life, and enhances the community's growth and development. Building safety codes cover residential and commercial building, structural and life safety, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing systems, as well as building energy, accessible design, and many more. Our primary services include permitting, plan review, and inspections. And that is for the construction and alteration of commercial, residential, and industrial structures within the city. Right now we're enforcing several adopted building codes as per the Idaho State Legislature and the Building Code Board. They adopt codes every few years and sometimes longer than that. But right now we're in the 2018 edition of the International Building Code, Residential Code, Fire Code, Existing Building Code, the Energy Conservation Code, Mechanical, Fuel, Gas Code, the Plumbing Code, and the National Electric Code, as well as the ANSI standard for accessible and usable buildings. So there is quite a bit here that we oversee, and so just wanted to go over that. 103.1 of the IBC talks about the creation and enforcement agency known as the Department of Building Safety, and the official in charge thereof shall be known as the building official. So again, I'm ultimately responsible for the application of building safety codes, and so I'm here today to bring to you 3 new service contracts. These are a first for the city. And they cover electrical, mechanical, and plumbing inspector services. Please note that these are for existing services already being provided to the city. Came to my attention about a year ago that it was kind of a handshake, verbal kind of situation, and unfortunately it's kind of a month-to-month basis with some of the inspectors. So it's essential here that we implement formal service contracts. The purpose and intent of these formal contracts: number one, to retain inspectors annually, establish standards for the regulation and enforcement of adopted codes for electrical, mechanical, and plumbing systems. This also allows me to verify certifications and qualifications on an annual basis for these individuals that we're contracting with. Also, this establishes a fee structure for permit, plan review, and inspections. So right now, this is the best business model for our city, contracting these individuals, because we only pay them for the permits that come in at a 60-40%, 60% to the contractor. It's also most cost efficient because we're not hiring these people. So these new service contracts really establish clear terms and conditions, and kind of ensures that, well, it does ensure that these particular codes are being applied and inspected and enforced in their respective trades. So I'm really excited about this. This is a big step forward for Middleton. So looking for your approval and support on that. Essentially, these contracts are going to be required to move forward and continue with these contractors. I do see that as a mandatory provision to continue the service coverage in our city. So as you might see, if we look to the contracts themselves, we have 3 different inspection individuals and their teams that have already signed on with intent to continue serving Middleton. So they've already expressed their commitment to continue with our city. 2 of these companies or individuals and their teams I've worked with for over 10 years. So I know their work. I've seen it firsthand. So it is nice to have that background and happy to have them continue on as contracted inspectors in our city.
We don't have these contracts.
Correct. We have no contracts right now.
Just work off the handshakes.
Oh, I'm sorry, up on the screen or?
It's not coming through in our,
There's nothing.
There's nothing in the
folder
files.
I have, there's nothing in that folder.
Okay, they were scanned in, I apologize.
For your
no,
proposed
I'm not worried
contract.
about that, it's just I haven't seen them is the point.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing in it.
Just to cover ourselves here, these are actually originals, so please,
Oh, yeah, no,
yeah.
Jenica says she's gonna go fix it.
Jenica's gonna get it fixed for us, so we can
Okay.
look at it. So-
yeah.
Well, while we're doing that, do we wanna have you take a seat and we can maybe,
Well, there's the fees, I saw the fees in, I don't even know where I'm at now. Stupid thing. The fees, on your fees deal, is that based on square footage that I'm seeing?
Yes, so this is the new element to the contracts.
Okay.
This is why, of course, number one, being able to implement these contracts, getting your approval on that. Number 2, these new fees, they are based on square feet. This is for commercial plan review only.
Okay.
This is being proposed due to the in-depth, lengthy review process in commercial. So this would essentially be a pass-through to our inspectors. We do charge an admin fee to pass that fee on to them. And then the other one is the re-inspection fee. That's a $65 fee that we pass to the inspector. And then we charge a $10 fee for administrative purposes, so for a total of $75.
Okay.
So this is also being proposed in other cities and jurisdictions by these individuals. So this is being proposed and implemented also in other cities. One thing I want to make sure to do is retain these high-level inspectors that we currently have. And so these fees are, to me, completely appropriate. They're reasonable when you look at the extent of commercial construction. These flat fees per square foot, we're getting a really high-quality in-depth plan review. So I am in support of this, as far as being implemented into the new contracts.
Okay. And that's pretty common through the valley, price-wise.
Yeah, so typically in 10+ years previously, there was no plan review fee implemented into a contract. So our guys, they cover several other jurisdictions. So Meridian, CUNA, Star, Eagle, they're actually going out and also proposing this to other cities. It's reasonable because the amount of time that's been since an update and modernization of contracts, it does seem appropriate with the growth in the valley.
Okay.
Well, by doing these contracts, these plumbers and electricians can do a business plan for them to take out loans to grow and that kind of thing, but they need to put together a business plan and have documentation to back it up.
I don't have a problem with any of this.
Yeah.
I'm just curious on the fee schedule, that's all. I didn't know, I don't know what they charged at
Yeah, and
Valley-wide.
just as an example, for a $2 million valuation on a commercial building, the permit may be $12,000 to $15,000, the building permit. My building plan review fee will be 65% of that. That's, $8,000 to $10,000. So you can see the value in the plan review stage. That's where everything's settled out, and then the inspections can just play out in the field. But the plan review stage is really critical, so it is very in-depth, lengthy. So if you compare that fee to $600 fee for these guys to do the same, it's quite reasonable.
Then how long does it take on their plan review? What's the, I come into you with a building, what does that look like time-wise? What's the time frame on that?
Yeah, so we all get the notifications for when a permit comes in, and we simultaneously review these plans. Depending on the project, and because multi-departmental reviews, 4 weeks up to 6 weeks. Of course, that can go sooner, but generally these guys are, within 2 to 3 weeks, or some of the first to get their plan reviews done. So,
Okay.
yeah, very reasonable amount of time.
All right.
Councilman
Presentation.
Christensen.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, just a couple of, I'm trying to put all these pieces together into one thing, and I didn't have the opportunity to take a look at all the contracts beforehand, so, and I don't see them in here, so I'm a little, I'd like a little more time to get an understanding of what they are. But my question is, you said people are around the valley do not use them now, but they're doing something like we're proposing, or are there cities that are actually using this service now?
They use these services, yeah, and depending on the size of the city. It is the best business model to contract the electrical, mechanical, plumbing, very typical valley-wide, statewide. So that's something that many building departments elect to do.
Well, I see the wisdom. I mean, I just wanted to find out if anybody's tried this model and had experience with it.
Oh, yeah, it's been.
The contracts themselves, the language in our contract, or the contracts you've got here are typical
Yes.
of what
100%.
is around the valley now, and people that are using similar
Yeah.
language.
This
This
is
probably is dedicated to
absolutely,
Middleton's
yeah.
phraseology and et cetera and codes.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are not completely unique. That's a template from another jurisdiction.
Uh-huh.
But again, I definitely put in some particulars that are specific to Middleton
Sure.
and best for Middleton.
Yeah.
So I worked with Douglas on that to get the language right. We came up with a really good contract. So yeah, my opinion, it's very much in line.
And I'd like to understand better how the fees work, who pays what to whom, and whether it's transparent, or where the money flows.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I fully understood you, but I don't want to take up council time.
That's fine.
They probably understand it, and I'd like to have a little more.
Yeah, it's very basic.
Okay.
60% to the contractor, 40% of the building permit, I'm sorry, the electrical, mechanical, or permit fee, 40% to the city. And then there's other associated fees, small fees like re-inspection fees. But that's basically it. It's very,
So I guess really I better restate my question. The cost of this service, is it an additional cost to what we are doing today, or is it,
no.
meaning, is it
Well, aside
owned
from
by
the-
who that pays this fee if it's over and top of what we currently do today?
Yeah, aside from these new commercial plan review only fees, and then this re-inspection fee, everything else is
What we do today?
as usual, business as usual. Yeah,
Okay. All right, thank you, that's all I want.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I guess we can take up item 4 now, since we just discussed it, we can
Yeah,
get that out the deal.
yeah. We're going to skip down to item 4.
Any questions on the contracts we have? It's pretty straightforward, attorney's gone through it, so we know they're ironclad. Makes sense to me, only paying for what we need,
Yeah.
otherwise it's not money out.
Second pair of eyes is always a good idea.
Yeah.
the way I see it.
All right, then I move that we approve the mayor to enter into inspector fee contracts for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing inspector services effective 10/1/2025.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Discussion item number 1, update on city staff audit of Middleton Business Forum feedback. Ms. Hobbs.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Council Mayor, I wanted to see if we wanted to change the order so we could get our officers maybe sworn in
I think that would
first.
be great. I have a
Great
note
idea.
here that I wanted to do that, but
Okay.
let's. Is that okay with everybody?
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
And it looks like the first one on the agenda is the swearing of Officer Kesty Koval. There, get around first. Sorry.
So everybody can see you and swear at you. Okay. Keston Koval. Do you solemnly affirm that
I, Keston Koval, do solemnly affirm that
I will honor and uphold the United States Constitution,
I will honor and uphold the United States, the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States of Idaho, or the state of Idaho,
the Constitution of the United States and the state of Idaho,
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Middleton.
and the laws and ordinances of the city of Middleton.
I will faithfully perform the duties of a Middleton police officer
Faithfully perform the duties of a Middleton police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I will enforce laws courteously
I will enforce laws courteously
and without partiality or hypocrisy.
and without partiality and hypocrisy.
And I will be an example of obeying the city rules and laws.
And I will be an example of obeying the rules and laws.
You'll be the first.
Thank you.
We'll take pictures. With the families after.
And on behalf of the city of Middleton and the Middleton Police Department, I'd like to present you with your badge, but I understand you're a warrant to present that to you and connect upon your shot. There you go. There you go.
If you feel resistance, push harder. Just keep pushing through it. It'll get there.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
solemnly affirm that
I, Olivia O'Brien, do solemnly affirm that
I will honor and uphold the United States Constitution,
I will honor and uphold the United States Constitution,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Middleton.
and the laws and ordinances of the City of Middleton.
I will faithfully perform the duties of a Middleton Police Code Enforcement Officer
I will faithfully perform the duties of a Middleton Police Code Enforcement Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I will enforce laws courteously
I will enforce laws courteously
and without partiality or hypocrisy,
and without partiality or hypocrisy.
and I will be an example of obeying the city rules and laws.
And I will be an example of obeying the city rules and laws.
And again, on behalf of the City of Middleton and the Middleton Police Department, I'd like to present you with your badge, and I think you'd like to have your mom fix that up on your chest. Congratulations, Mom.
Right on there.
Okay, let's take some pictures. Any families want to step forward and have pictures taken by the officers? The officers like to have their pictures taken by the council.
I guess. Come up here.
Come on, Mom. You can come back.
Get in front of the. Sure. Where's the other one? Here he is.
On three. Everyone smiles. 1, 2, 3.
Do you know that I don't know how to order on Amazon? Yeah, I don't think I want it.
All right, let's get down. I'm gonna catch this for him. And then
I know, because I'm going down, especially.
More stuff, possibly.
Do you want to go shake hands with any of the other officers?
Thank you so much. 6 more. They're being shy. Working on it, working on it.
Do you want to stand here or? You can trust him, he's one of the good guys.
All right, here we go. Here's Liv. Yeah, you gotta remember, you and Liz should be in the middle. I'm the handsome.
Even if you do say so, it's very humbling.
No,
Forget that I'm a lighter load these days.
Is it heavy?
Somebody,
you and Kogel are gonna be in the middle.
okay. Is somebody gonna
take this picture?
Yeah, Monica probably. Take it around.
Okay.
Get one more, Jason. The chairs out of the way. I don't know. Monica, you taking a picture? Or no? Oh.
Is that Monica's phone?
Do you want me to take a picture?
Well, I don't know, just unless that was with your phone, because you typically would do it. Ship it off to.
Look at me, Olivia. Now she's in it.
In the middle.
Okay, right here.
Awesome, thank you. All right. Treat.
Yeah, now you go to work.
Get them all situated again.
Yes. Okay, we are back. What time is it? We didn't go over a time, but that's okay.
6:02.
It's okay. We all back? Okay, what is the time? Just
6:02.
6:02. Discussion item, update on city staff audit and Middleton Business Forum feedback. Ms. Hobbs.
Apologies for my glasses. Mayor and council, good evening. Okay, this is our progress report on the Middleton Business Forum audit. So, I don't know, a month or so ago, you came to us with lots of feedback, lots of action-focused items, specific measurables type thing. And then the task was to come back as a staff and evaluate it, see where we're at, what can we do, what are we doing, what can we change, what can't we change, things like that. So, since we've spoken last, we've had 5 participants in the audit. Mayor Hutchison, our planning and zoning official Roberta, our building official Stephen, our city engineer Amy, and our public works director Jason. They have all been inside. We had one of our clerks take all the sticky notes from your presentation, all the, not just the overall goals, but the sticky notes. We took those, put them in an Excel spreadsheet so we could see each one. Then each one of the participants went in and made a note on this, whether it's, this is a duplicative comment, or maybe a background if we could decipher something of a comment. So there's lots of background internal details that was added. I'm going to send that to you guys in an email just so you can see the raw notes and the copious hours that staff has put into this to prepare and really make sure we're doing our due diligence. So we have some really good news. In the audit, there are must-dos and there should-dos that you had that you really wanted that progress report on. In the must-dos, you had 5, but I counted them as 6 because one of them was like a 1 and then a 1B. So out of 6 must-dos, the city, prior to this, and even prior to me, 6 of them are already being done. Now, the considerations of things to be implemented from those must-dos, I've have a set of bullet points here that we can glean something from. So developing a clear process map. That was something that was clear that we'd love to get that done. That's a really good recommendation. creating residential and commercial a cost calculator so that it's apparent, people can go in there and play with numbers. How much is things about going to cost me based on the current schedule? And then providing clear education on processes set in place and it to be really visible to the public. So I'll stop right here and just say the overall theme from the sticky note feedback, from the goals that Councilman Christiansen, that you had created yourself, that you said I could edit, so I edited it so it was specific to the city.
Yep.
The overall theme that we are seeing is education. Because so many of these things are already being done, but it's apparent, maybe people don't know. They need to be educated on the processes and how the city code works, how the state code works, how the building supplements work, how the Idaho supplement works. So that's something that we're really gonna key in on. The next category at a high level are the should do's. You have 3 should do's. And out of those 3 of them are already being done. But as we drill down into some details, there are some bullets of things that we can continue to do and keep top of mind, such as remaining committed to our customer service. I sit in the middle of the office and everybody does a really wonderful job talking to people on the phone. This wasn't so much toward people that are coming into the office, but we're doing a great job and we're going to remain committed to doing that. We're going to always keep the city's best interests a priority. That's something that we talk about constantly as a staff, whether it's finances, whether it's code, whether it's safety, whether it's whatever it might be. We're going to continue to engage with regional groups to optimize opportunity for Middleton and increase engagement where applicable. So we are a part of BVEP. In fact, Roberta and I tag team BVEP so we can find out who wants to come to the area, and we raise our hand whenever we have something that's applicable. Compass, AIC, mayor talks with other mayors, gets feedback, so we are doing that, but if there's an area that we can increase and do more, we're definitely obliged to do that. And then this was something that was really key, was implementing a feedback tool for applicants and developers that come through our processes. That was really a great insight. And as far as a survey, so in my past job, I was actually in charge of all of the surveys that came through for people that were on the phone. And so I'm super familiar with the NPS scores and Net Promoter scores. You guys probably see them. How likely are you to recommend the city of Middleton to friends and family, or TJ Maxx to friends and family? It's a very common promoter score. So we can start to take some kind of a survey at the end of the process and find out how are we doing. Okay, we can make them anonymous. We can make them where they're not anonymous, but that way people can leave valuable feedback. Okay? So then we get to the next part. That's kind of an overall snapshot of what we can glean. Then this is pretty much the forum action focus that was recommended in your packet on the left side. And then on the right side is the City of Middleton's action focus that really pertains to how the city can best reword it for ourselves. The overall statement of the city, yes, we are on a journey of continuous improvement and have been since, at least I know I've been here and there's been changes going on for a while. But we are in a growing up phase. People say that all the time. We're a growing city. As we welcome the growth of new residents, commercial and industrial development, we will continue to move forward in this direction. We aim to serve this community to the best of our abilities in every aspect. So the aspects of culture, finance, all the things that are categorized in your presentation. We are committed to continue to do that. So you can see the must-dos on the left and then our verbiage on the right. A lot of things, like I said, because we're already doing them, we might be maintaining a goal that's already been written or an action focus, or it's reworded so that it's clear of what we are bound by city or state code. Okay. So I'm happy to walk through that. Do you guys want me to walk through those specifically with you, or do you have a question? Should I continue?
I have a question.
Yep.
So on this first one, this pre-application meeting.
Yep.
And then over here you have educate developers. So which one is what?
Yep. So this one right here. So the presentation that Councilman Christiansen gave us,
yeah.
He wanted us to be able to establish a required pre-application meeting with all stakeholders. That's already being done. That's been done since I've been here with all of those people. We already do that. So what we think needs to happen is we actually need to educate developers in tandem with their design engineers,
Okay.
so they can clearly understand their role. Because our developmental code, and Amy can speak to it if she wants to, that's where some of the breakdown comes from, right? We've got bigger developers, from what we hear, and they understand it because they read the code and it's specific. They have their design engineers and project managers. The smaller or one-off type developers don't, and so they might not know the ins and outs of that. We need to do a better job of educating because we already do the application meeting. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay.
Same
Yep,
thing.
I was just trying to understand your two columns here.
Okay, same thing for the next one, ensure timely and transparent. I just reworded that to say maintain, because we are already doing these things. But I broke them out into two sections. One, the top one is for the building department specifically. The second one is for subdivisions and plat approvals specifically. Because one of them has to work according to the ICC, the International Code for Building. And the second one has to work for City Code and the Middleton Supplement for Public Works. And those are things that we're bound to in the timing, in the inspection process and all the best practices. And that's really where they're gleaning their processes from.
So
But again, when we're educating people, we
Right.
can say, here's what's happening.
So when you say timely, what is timely? I don't,
So timely will depend on whatever that, if the code states there's a time-driven need or not, right? So if somebody comes in and says, I'm going to apply for a building permit, then we would say, oh, well, okay, Jenica lets people know in the pre-application meeting, here's what happened, here's the system that you use, and usually you can talk to me every day, every couple days, no big deal. Calculating fees, those kind of things. And so Middleton is very good at being timely. We don't have a marker on what the SLA actually is, but it means people aren't waiting a long period of time. And the city itself, as we break out these processes to do more education, then we can say, hey, what is that time? And Amy or Roberta can go, oh, this is a really good time. So we can actually map that out as a city ourselves so that it's a little bit clearer for people.
okay.
Yep. The next one, Kylie, we've got, impact fees. This is probably going to be relevant. Review and adjust impact fees and permits to align with regional norms and establish predictable, transparent fee structures. This is something that we already do, and this is something that we do according to city and state code for the impact fees. So the impact fees have to be reevaluated or updated every 5 years, and it's already done by a third-party organization. In fact, they're going to be here next week for the CIP update for transportation for Midstar. So we do that. We are bound by code to do that. It costs
A lot.
the last one was, $30,000 for our portion of it, and we have to split that with other people. And that's just for one update. So we do that. As far as our other fees, we annually maintain that. We annually look at our fee schedule during the budget season. Every department head's looking, which is why you've had Steven, you've had me up here adding, changing, removing. That happens every year so that we can make sure that first of all, the city's costs are covered and that we are in line with what we're supposed to be. The impact fees are not established by the norms of the region. The impact fees are only established by the unique needs of Middleton themselves. That's where the analysis comes from. So Kittleson, who does our transportation, for instance, they go and they look at what model do they want to derive from for all the different formulas for finances, how the trip meters, things like that. Where does that come from? So they looked at ACHD, they looked at NAMPA, and then they decided back in 2020 when they did this, I think 2020, that they would follow the ACHD model. So once we adopted that same model to derive those formulas, Caldwell adopted it as well, and that's where they adopt it for them, and it's specific to their city. We can't compare with other regional impacts because the impact in Middleton is unique to Middleton and Middleton's CIP plan. So Eagle doesn't make sense to compare because their CIP plan, their impact is different than what it is here. You would think, we're all going to kind of be competitive, but it doesn't work that way. So that's for impact fees. And then this one, I just said that we're going to continue to do this because the resolution of 513 was adopted in January fostering that culture that welcomes our commercial industrial growth. Of course, we want growth here. We all, for those purposes, we want to see those things come. We want to, that's why we're at BVEP, to say, bring it. We would like to have that gun range here. We'd like to have the brewery here. And if it complies with what their needs are, yeah, we want to make sure we're doing that.
Ideally, the brewery doesn't go next to the gun range.
Ideally, no. Yes, ideally, no. Or the police could be just, stamped outside. The number 5, but number 4 on the presentation from Councilman Christiansen is updating internal systems to support a culture of customer service, continuous improvement, and professional accountability. This is something that, so the city, we remain committed to the city first mindset. We are using continuous improvement all the time. I have the background in continuous improvement, and I'm, when I first came here, I'm observing and observing. You can ask Jenica and say, why do we do that? Tell me more. How do we change that? Mayor's like, why this, why that? So we are doing that not just for clerk processes, administrative processes, but all the different departments. And so internal city processes and conduct, which goes back to that customer service mindset first. And so we're not perfect, but we are constantly saying, hey, I heard you say something. Let's talk about that. Those things are happening behind the scenes. We're not going to talk about them here at a council meeting, but they're happening behind the scenes. So we are going to remain committed to keep doing that. And the last one is for sewer, which this was specific for sewer from the forum, from the business forum, cost effects, regional cooperative strategies, things like that. When I spoke with Jason specifically, we wanted to make this a little bit broader so it's all infrastructure. It's not specific to the sewer plant itself. So we are going to stay diligent in being innovative and proactive and conscious of the city's budget for all infrastructure projects. So behind the scenes, what you don't get to see all the sausage making, and developers won't see it, but that's why we have the recycle program. We've got things that we're trying to be innovative for. How much does that cost? Wendy's, she's got her thumb on the budget. Why are we paying this much? Can we do better? How do we be proactive for that? How do we solve that problem without it costing or taking so long? That's happening all the time. We're getting in sometimes little arguments. I don't agree. Well, tell me more. Explain to me why you don't agree. And then we work through it. But that's what nobody's going to see that behind the scenes. So there really is a diligency that the city does for our taxpayers and for the people that want to come to Middleton. That's the end part of my kind of progress report. I thought because tonight is the public hearing for public testimony regarding the judicial confirmation for the sewer, that in front of you, you have quite a lengthy set of remarks from Jason specifically on the sewer plant, where it talks about third party looking at the design. Is there a way to do something different? Is there a way to be creative and do all those things? And Jason has been spearheading that since he came to the city. He did walk into a process already in place and a design that's kind of set in stone, and at this point we're on the train to make it as the best that we can. So if you guys have questions on that, I think Jason can come up and just talk briefly about that. This was a really good exercise. I think that it lended to some conversations that are going to bring some just, not change, the change needed, but elevate us on how we communicate what we're doing. Because there's so much good stuff happening. There's so many developers that love to work with Middleton. Mayor was at different cities and they were saying, we hear that all the time as well. Caldwell says this. Developers are always complaining about us as well. And it makes us feel better because misery loves company. Everybody likes to hear that they're not the only one. There is always continuous improvement, so we are committed to keep doing that. So you're going to have in your email box tonight the raw notes from all the city staff. You don't have to go through it. It's very copious and detail-oriented. But if you have questions, you can call Jason. You can call Roberta. You can call Steven. You can call Amy. I'm not the subject matter expert on those specific detailed items because those are their departments. But Mayor, we are willing to have questions answered and then let us do the best work that we absolutely can.
Is it okay to ask questions, or are you trying to segue into Jason?
You can come, you can ask me and then I'll
it's just more
leave.
comments, and I'll make it brief. And I appreciate the work you're doing, very honestly. I mean, this whole exercise here was for the purpose of bringing attention, clarity. What is it that's being said? Is this perception or is it real? Or is perception real? And I appreciate your efforts. I honestly do. All of these comments, all those sticky notes, I didn't write any one of them. They were all from the people that do business in Middleton and do business elsewhere. And so what I would offer is, you mentioned you're doing all 6. Perception is
That we're not.
You're not.
Yeah.
And so how are we going to determine that? I mean, doing what we're doing already and getting the perception, again, by people that are currently doing business in Middleton today and elsewhere, that perception is that we're not. So what are the, hypothetical or theoretical, whatever, answer it later, what is it that we're going to do to close that gap? You said education.
Yep, I have an answer for you.
Okay, let me,
Okay.
part 2 of that is how are we going to measure it? You said a survey, so are we doing some kind of like, after a project is done, are we getting some feedback, a feedback loop, an honest feedback loop from the applicants as to, not just this, but how the whole process went? That's, again, a rhetorical question. But again, we're implementing new thoughts, new processes to a current process. We need some way to measure it, some way to get feedback would be, that was kind of the intent of this. So we want to improve the perception, not necessarily say that the city is doing anything wrong or negligent. Perception is, we need to change that perception somehow. And so I want to underscore that that's not a criticism, that's not anything other than observation from a businessman who's been doing this for years. And I appreciate your efforts from everybody that's been participating, because I think if anything else, it's been a good exercise in seeing what it is that our customers are saying about us.
Yep.
And it's very important for us to listen. So I think this is a great first step, and thank you, everyone. Appreciate that.
Yeah. I would say to both of your questions, the first one is, we don't know yet. We do know that education is key, but the city is committed to looking at each one. How do we make people aware that we're doing these things? And if we are doing these things, process map, that is something that's needed. I think that's going to clear up a lot of your problems. Some of the fees, things like that, no, you can't change those. That's just the way that it is to do business in a city. But so we're not completely clear, but we will figure it out.
Yeah, I think the idea was just to compare to everyone else, category to category, to see if there's any chance or any opportunity to make a difference. And we are a smaller community, so things are good.
Yeah. And the other thing to think about is, like, if ACHD does something, then maybe Canyon County might do something different. Caldwell might do something different as far as what their categories are, because ACHD has a whole list. You'll see that next council meeting. You're going to get to review and hopefully adopt the new Impact B plan. It's huge, but then STAR, for let's just say fire, for their Canyon County side, they have 4 categories. So it's really hard to compare apples and apples, but that's something that we're constantly, that's why we hire people to do that for us.
But taking the steps to do that counts a lot.
Yep. The second thing for the survey, that's something, so if we do an NPS score of 70 is like barely on par. In my world where I've been before, we want to be at a higher score. So if we start to do that, how likely are you? It's one question. That's easy. It's an easy gauge. Then we can drill down into, how was this process? How was this process? How was your interactions? That's just going to be a survey that we have to develop and send out and then tweak it. Are we getting responses? Are people skipping over this? We need to make this required. But we're going to have to learn that as we go.
Well, that's a great measure of how you're doing, and that's, to me, that's an awesome opportunity right there. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Oh,
Where are you going? Have you looked at adding a page to our website like CUNA has that I showed you, that economic development page?
Yeah, so I talked to Steven, and that is something that's been on his radar for a cost calculator. And you can input, that's in his world.
So something that would advertise us and make it clear that we want you to come here, we're flexible, we'll work with you.
Oh, that we want to work with you? Yeah, we could do that.
we're in the
That's
process
something.
of getting that.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had a couple new reporting things come on our website to find out where people are going, how many people are going, how often they're going. So as soon as we get some data on the traffic and where people are clicking, then we can do something like that where the most traffic is being driven.
And has there been internal discussion about the possibility of adding an economic development position and whether that would be beneficial or not?
There has been discussion, yes, but we can't afford it right now. It's not something that's in the budget. I think first and foremost, if we add people, it will be for essential roles to help supplement those people first.
May I step in?
Yeah.
We're talking 2028 and starting off as a part-time and also a grant writer, so that we can have a position that does both and it not be just a part-time position, because it's very difficult to get that kind of expertise in part-time. But if they could do 2 separate positions and fill 40 hours, it would be something that we're looking towards in 2028.
What about the possibility of contracting out to somebody who could do that for us instead of
Well,
having a full-time position?
We have been talking about joining with other cities on grant writing because they share the costs.
No, not grant writing.
Right,
economic
but
development.
and with the other position, it's very hard for them to be dedicated to one city and trying to bring in business, and maybe one out of so many times they might say, well, if we don't fit here, where would we fit? They could say, well, Middleton, but it's the dedication to a city. And we're talking through all these things. It's something that'll probably come up, I don't know, we're talking 8 months from now is what we're talking. Of even having those kind of discussions and figuring out budget and all those things.
There's been a few things that are up in the air around the city. So I think that as we get a little bit more clarity, yeah.
The interesting thing is everybody.
Volunteers.
Our treasurer would like a part-time person, our planner would like a part-time person. So it's just thinking about the money aspect of it.
Or even internships.
And where we put it.
Yeah, maybe internship with we could possibly look at that avenue too.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So yeah, we could too.
To Councilmember Murray's comment, I think there's a lot of ways to skin that cat, and I don't know, we're not the only ones that can't afford a position. And I don't know a lot about that topic, but I know about shared services.
Mm-hmm. We spoke in depth with NAMPA 2 weeks ago about sharing services, like Mayor said, for a grant writer. We haven't talked about it for BVEP, or not BVEP, but economic development, so that's a good conversation.
Yeah.
I think some of the other cities would
I'm sure there
be
are
open to
people
it.
willing to do
Yeah.
it because they have passion for it and they want to do it. So I would hope that there's some opportunity for some kind of a.
Yeah. I think that now that we're through this exercise, we can maybe focus on where do we focus our efforts. It doesn't seem like it, but this is taking quite a bit of time. So now we can go. Now we can sit back and decide where we want to put our efforts in that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Casey.
Okay. Any
Jason Van Gilbert, Public Works Director. The must number 5 really focused on infrastructure funding, and so much of the discussion was on development and development processes that this kind of warranted its own little bit of a topic. And you have 10 pages of my thoughts on how we are doing. Really, we're doing most of what was described in that must 5. And we're doing it quite successfully, I think, with something the city can really be proud of. So
I'll just call out, we kind of knew that before I said it in. And again, these were comments from the group, but thank you for pointing that out. That was very true.
Without further ado, we will submit to your reading. She did mention today that we have a large measure about the funding for the treatment plant. It's again something we've been working diligently on, exploring all topics on, and I think we'll cover that a little more. But if there's any particular questions about that, I'm happy to answer. Either way.
Thank you, Jason.
Well,
Thanks, Jason.
thank you.
So I just wanted to add, if anybody have any questions, you can email or call any of those people, and they'll get back to you as soon as they can between all their other duties and to the best of their ability. Okay, number 5.
No, we gotta
We never even
Consent
did number
agenda.
one.
Where are we?
We haven't even done one.
I'm looking at here, and I'm going back and forth. We're up here. Good Lord.
All right, council, we have a consent agenda items. Consider approving minutes, city council July 2nd, ratifying payroll July 11th, and accounts payable through July 16th. Any questions on accounts payable? No? Okay, status quo. All right, then I move we approve consent agenda items A, B, and C.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we're on.
Now we're on 5. All righty. Regarding Crossing South final plat, consider approving the final plat for Crossing South. Ms. Stewart.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Councilman. Final plat application, Crossing South subdivision vicinity up here. You'll see Purple Sage on the top of the page, Cemetery Meadow Park. It's on the bottom part of the Crossing subdivision there. The Crossing South is zoned R3, single-family residential. It contains 9 buildable home lots and 3 common lots. It's on only 3 acres. The plat meets all the dimensions and standards for the R3 zone. There are no fees or bonds that are outstanding to the city. All infrastructure and construction has been completed and approved, and city engineer has recommended approval, and you can see that from her Amy Woodruff's recommendation letter. We did get a phone call today from Black Canyon Irrigation District, and they are just saying, hey, they want some fees paid, and one little note worked over that the law has changed on very, very recently, and so if you approve this tonight, we would just ask that you understand that there's 2 little housekeeping things need done, and the condition of approval or for city engineer to sign and for us to hand the Mylar over would be having these fees paid to the Black Canyon Irrigation District. So we can approve tonight, but just hold it on the desk till they pay their fees. I think it's like $120. So we don't want to hold them up for 2 weeks, over $120. Okay, that would be the only condition of approval. And I stand for questions.
Absolutely. Who is he?
He's the applicant.
Is the applicant.
Representative.
Is that okay?
Yeah, this is not a public hearing, but there's
Okay.
nothing that prohibits the council from permitting him to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the legislature, it's obvious that the
Sorry, board.
Kent Brown,
And you're from?
Kent Brown Planning, and I represent the developer. My address is 3161 East Springwood.
Thank you, sir.
The entire development community started scrambling the last 2 weeks of June when we found out that the law had changed and that there was specific wording that needed to be put on the plats. And so I guess I'm not really surprised that Black Canyon doesn't necessarily like Note 8. So it's being tweaked because there's also, under the owner's signature, there's a certificate that is, as he signs the plat, he's talking about irrigation there. And that's what the state law spoke to, is basically what they're looking at is that the development community and people that are doing subdividing aren't serving those properties with wells. They choose not to participate in the irrigation system. If they're in a irrigation district, that they're being served. So this is the first one I've had to discuss. I got one at the treasurer's office right now. They knew nothing about it, but I explained there's this new verbiage on there, and the city is aware of it. Ada County surveyor has put on his website some verbiage. He's got a copy of the state code. I mean, they're asking for some things that didn't have a lot of forethought, and they didn't talk to anybody when they did it. A plat is a survey document. They're asking that a phone number be put on there for the irrigation district. I've looked at plats that are over 100 years old. Obviously, that phone number's probably not going to stay the same, but they're asking that be put on there. So we have to comply. This surveyor understood that, and for him to be in compliance with the state code, that's why he put that information on there, and it kind of makes sense that maybe the irrigation district didn't. What they don't like is that it says lien on note 8. They don't like that word being on there, and so it's gonna be a minor modification. There's certain things that the code's requiring, but we'll probably have this resolved this week very easily.
And in the meantime, staff is watching this. We just will not give them the Mylar to record it till this minor issue is figured out. It actually sounds like they're ahead of the irrigation district. They're doing everything they need to do per the code, and the irrigation district is what's going on, you know. But they're catching up. They're talking to their attorneys. That's what they told me this afternoon. So they'll come back and say your note's fine.
The surveyors, at least the surveyors that I'm working with, I've probably got 15 different plats that we're having to have re-signed because it has to have this irrigation statement on there, and that they're committing to providing the surface water that is provided to the site. The wording totally changes if you're in an area that has no water right. So it's kind of causing everybody a little bit of heartburn, and everybody trying to get the note right, and that they can comply with the code that no one was told about. But that's not the first time in my 35 years of doing this that the irrigators have gone to the Idaho Farmer Legislature and said we want this a new rule. So, surprise.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So the only thing outstanding is these fees.
$120.
$120, yeah. They'll probably pay those tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. All right, then I move we approve the final plat for Crossing South once the Black Canyon fees are paid and current.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6. Regarding Dr. Ganir, did I say that right? Individual assessment impact fees. Consider approving the individual assessment of Dr. Ganir regarding transportation impact fees for his proposed dental office at Green Lakes Commercial Subdivision. Mr. Larson, the attorney, and Mr. Grenier, and Ms. Stewart, and Mr. Waterman, our city attorney.
If I may poke in here just real quick, so the city hasn't seen an individual assessment for over 5 years probably. So this is the last one was the RV, Idaho RV. So the process that we're employing tonight is the Dr. Ganir, who's requesting the individual assessment, will present first, but then staff will have a reply, and will rely heavily probably on Douglas. And so we go from there. So I don't know what a set time would be, but you know.
So yeah, in the email, it was you were told you'd have 15 minutes if you wanted.
15?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Only 15, but thank you. Something on a microphone always makes it more nerve-wracking, but thank you for your patience. Thank you for giving me some time to talk about impact fees. I love Middleton. We've lived here for over 20 years. Just a little introduction about me and my situation about impact fees. So we moved here in 2004, serving as a dentist in the U.S. Air Force Dental Corps, and we got out of the Air Force, moved here, and we've been raising our family here for 20 years. And I opened up our practice across the street here 2006, so coming up on 20 years. And we're looking at moving locations. We're having issues with parking over there. There's a lot of businesses that come in. We don't have room for our staff to park and for our patients, probably need a little bit more room. We're starting for elbow room in our little office. And so we have a plot of land about a mile and a half down the road in Middleton that we are hoping to move locations to. So we came up with plans for a building. It was approved. I took it to the city. I balked at the impact fees. Initially, we have about a 7,800 square foot kind of a building footprint. And initially, we were going to use the attic space to have a bigger building. We have a big staff lounge for our meetings and things. Initially, impact fees were going to be like $260,000, total non-starter. And so we went back to the drawing board, cut the square footage in half, got completely rid of the second floor. Now we just have the main floor. Impact fees are still $130,000, and I'm talking about fees before they start building. You know, all the permits, fees for all the different city services. Still a non-starter, so just looking at different options. I know impact fees are an issue, and I really appreciate what the city's doing to try to change, you know, the perception. You know, I know from the economic forums, Middleton has an unfavorable reputation with impact fees. You know, we're talking about comparing, you know, at that initial meeting, I was told, well, you're going to have the same impact fees no matter where you go in the valley. And I thought, wow, that's tough, you know, tough to build. And in passing conversation with a colleague, oral surgeon who just built a brand new oral surgery center in Boise, I told him what I was facing in Middleton, and he about fell off his seat. He's like, I just built my building, and my fees were like in the mid-20s. And so I asked him to send it to me. I sent it to you all in an email. $26,000 worth impact fees. And so, but that's really not my argument to ask for help. I mean, I'm just asking for an individual assessment of my particular situation. I'm not asking for any certain favors, but I dug into the code to figure out, okay, what are impact fees for, and how are they supposed to be assessed? Well, impact fees, as you know, are to charge new businesses for the new city services that they're going to bring to the city, which is fair, and I'm not arguing that point. I think impact fees are necessary, they should be charged, but as I read through the code, both the state and city code, it's very clear that the intent of impact fees is to charge for new businesses and bring in new city services. And I sent that to you all in my letter. This is Ordinance 591, Section 1-20-3 under intent. This is the intent. It is not the intent to collect any monies from new development in excess of the actual amount necessary to offset new demands. And so I think there's a really strong distinction between existing businesses and new businesses. We are simply moving our location, and our current location, we're selling that to a non-dentist. Roberta informed me that a new building is going to have to be repurposed. They'll have to get permits, building permits. They will be assessed an impact fee on my current building. When we move our location, we're not adding to city services at all. It'll be the same two dentists providing the same services, same amount of patients, same amount of use of sewer, water, police, and emergency services. So those are the impact fees for the city usage. So my contention is that there's really not a specific, it doesn't address in the city code for existing businesses just changing location. You know, I've been in Middleton. I was looking back how much I paid in taxes and fees, and it's a lot. You know, well over $100,000 in taxes for city and county taxes, tens of thousands of dollars in user fees, and so I'm asking for an individual look at my certain situation because it's not addressed in the city code, but there's allowance made to make a variance through this individual assessment. And so what I'm proposing is that we have, me and my other dentist, we use city services right now. By moving our location, we will not impact city services. but we will have a little bit more space where potentially we could bring on another dentist in the future. And I acknowledge that impact fees could be used for potential use. So one more dentist is 1/3 more usage of city services in the future. And we may not bring a dentist on, but we wanted room in case we ever did grow to that point. So my proposal was that we be charged that 1/3, so it'll be 1/3 of the impact fee that is assessed. So I'm just here to ask for your help in advocating for small business, to make an allowance for an existing business because it's not specified specifically of what to do with existing businesses in the code. So, thank you.
Is there a question?
Anybody have any questions?
Dr. Grenier, I just wanted to say that, number one, I appreciate your services, but I think that the way that the impact fee laws were written, you're perfectly in line with the procedure to make this happen. So I'm more than happy to listen to any changes that we need to make to provide you with a more appropriate fee.
Thank you.
I have a question. We have Middleton Fitness that's going to be building a new building. Are we going to have them come in and, because they're just changing their location and they're going to rent out that location? Are they going to be able to come in and?
There are so many things. Maybe before we ask questions or have discussion, you might want to hear another concept or side of this story, and then I'll go right to that question. That would be the situation, but there won't be any need for that once I put a few more facts in front of the board here.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Oh, were you gonna have something, Rob? Go ahead.
Just one question. What's the new business that you're selling to? What will they be doing in your location?
We don't have a business buying it yet, but we are not selling to another dentist because we don't want to create competition.
Right. So my question is, someone's going to come in there and someone's going to use city services.
Correct. Someone's going to have to repurpose that building. It's very specific to dental, so they're going to have to repurpose it for whatever, whoever wants to buy it, I'm just going to put it up for sale.
Okay.
And I was on that, I mean, that's basically what I was gonna say too, is that even when you build a new facility, you may be just moving your services, but it's still, to what Rob was saying, it's not a tit for tat. And also location makes a difference. And I'm not quantifying the numbers. I haven't seen a breakdown of what those numbers are. And like Amira said, we certainly want to work with new businesses. Just our conversation earlier is we want to promote and we want to bring about. But just to what you said, my assessment is that you've added a new structure, whether it is removing or not, it's still a new resource for, business or not business, traffic or need for lights, or also depends on the location. So I think my own personal self, I'd like to sit and evaluate, what it is, the numbers that you come up with and what Councilmember O'Meara is talking about, and see what we can do if we do want to move back there. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Could I ask a quick question too? When you built Middleton Smiles over here in Wellstone, what year was that built?
2005, 2006.
Okay. That's an interesting point.
I'm done, thanks.
Thank you. I need to jump in. I didn't want to interrupt, and I appreciate Dr. Grenier's position very much, and it's really important to understand that, first of all, the fees are not $130,000. I do not know where you got that number. You went to design review for a building that was 7,878 square feet, and it was approved last month. I can't remember, 4 or 5 weeks ago. The impact fee is currently $10,063. So your impact fee is $80,000. 80,544.
Yeah, that's just the traffic. So I was talking about all the fees that it's gonna cost before I build.
Oh, you don't want,
Increments
I thought you were talking about just transport, you're talking police and fire.
Yeah, just like I stated in my letter, it's just all the fees. I took all the impact fees, all the fees together.
Okay.
So I'm talking about fees, correct?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and present more, so so his traffic impact fee is $80,000, $80,500, not 130, and
Right.
I wish I would have known that, because I would have added up your other ones.
Yeah, it's
Just-
130,000.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was in the letter.
so transportation impact fees, Midstar update, we've spent the last year and a half and over $100,000 putting our impact fees together. Same with fire, same with police. We hired Tischler, blah, 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 and we paid them a lot of money. Our transportation impact fee is based upon what happens here in Middleton, all of our transportation studies, and then they used an upgraded or new addition to the traffic analyses, and Kittleson, an expert, put the impact fees together. You're going to be approving them or not approving them on August 20th, next month. So anything, if you give a waiver tonight, based upon whatever reasoning, it needs to be compatible with you saying, the impact fees are too high for Dr. Grenier, but we're going to go ahead and approve on August 20th the impact fees that we just paid $100,000 for from an expert. So just know you're placed in a difficult position. You need a good justification for a waiver, because if you don't, then you put staff in a very precarious situation. Every commercial permit that comes forward from here on out, I have no standard or measure. I'm relying on Kittleson and our updated Midstar that we paid consultants to do. I can apply it equally to everybody at any time. But with a waiver, I am no longer on firm ground. I don't know what is the standard for saying, no, you don't have to pay what everybody else has to pay. Now, there is a method, and that is to show by clear and convincing proof that the calculated numbers based on federal traffic data and local studies, for whatever reason, doesn't apply to Dr. Grenier. He did not submit one bit of data. Not one. I asked him to. He did not. So you don't have clear and convincing proof that it is applied unequally to him. And if you give a waiver for any other reason, then do not approve the impact fees that will be coming to you on August 20th, because that would be inconsistent, and it puts us in a really difficult situation. Second, he did not pay impact fees in 2005 for his building and his impact. We didn't start collecting them until 2008, so he has not paid any transportation impact fees. I don't know about fire, and I doubt that he's paid those. I don't know what was happening in 2005. He did not pay the 80,000 transportation impact fees in 2005. Second, this is the most important thing. Even though he is moving to a new building with the same doctors, with the same patient base, maybe a little bit bigger, the old building, this is still a new impact, because when somebody comes into the new building and say they do a TI, we're not going to charge any more impact fees. The practice of the city is they are charged once at building permit, and we don't charge them again later if it's remodeled. So he was saying, I won't charge it to a dentist, I won't sell it to a dentist, but you can't stop. What if he sells it to somebody and a year later they sell it to a dentist? Now we have a building where he's never paid impact fees for, going to another dentist, and he can't stop that. And then he has a brand new impact that he's trying not to pay what everybody else is supposed to be paying. And what is city staff supposed to do in the future with these kind of situations? We need to bring everyone to you to see if an exception or a waiver should be made. We have our system for a reason. It is applied equally to everybody unless they can prove with clear and convincing data, traffic information, that it is applied unfairly to them.
So when you're done, I just have a couple of clarifying questions. First is, so the 80,000 that you say is the impact fee for Middleton?
For traffic, yes.
The difference between the 130 that I'm hearing and the 80, that is for what? Fire?
That seems awfully high to me. I
Okay.
can hardly believe that
Well, it's a
50,000.
leading question, and I apologize for that, but the reality is that fire, isn't fire a pass-through? Meaning we collect it and pay it through?
Yeah, it goes, I don't know.
So those fees, if we gave arbitration for those fees, we would be paying them without anything coming back. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know how the fire goes through. I'm
Okay,
not sure.
I'm just trying to say to you, I think there's more, that difference I would like to understand, just for my own clarity, not to countermand or get involved in any of things, just I'd like to understand it for clarity going forward. But it seems to me that there is that difference in numbers, and it's coming from somewhere, and I think it'd be important to find out what that is. And the transfer, or the fire fees and police and things like that, the police obviously are a city entity, but fire is not. So anyway, it'd be important to know what the impact of that would be. In other words, we don't want to pay for.
We could calculate them right now. We're gonna give you those numbers. It's super duper simple. It's like 33 cents a square foot. We know what this building is.
I'm talking about the difference between the 80,000 and 130.
Yeah, we're calculating it
Okay.
right now. It
Okay.
should take about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Super simple. I wish I would have known. I thought we were talking just transportation. The letter wasn't clear.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So how much time have we all spent preaching over the last, 8 to 12 months about how desperately we need commercial and industrial? And we sat down with them and we heard all the complaints, and the feedback I've been getting so far is that they think we're full of it. Nothing but hot air. If we don't start taking some action to get the rubber on the ground and get some traction moving forward, they're not gonna come to us. They're not gonna want to. They're gonna think we're full of shit, and that's it, walk away.
Who's that? You're talking new
The
businesses?
development community, yes, businesses.
It's kind of
Commercial
interesting, I've been
industrial.
having these conversations, and it was out of nowhere, Victor said, our fire chief, captain said, that Happy Teriyaki came to City of Star, wanted a discount on their traffic, or their impact fees, and they said no. They said, fine, we won't come here, and they were fine. If we, and I was like, you threw away a business? Well, then I look at the City of Star, businesses are coming in, right? But they said they've been doing that all along, that they just can't afford to do one thing. My problem is this, and there's no way I've tried to wrap my head around this. I am for mom and pop businesses. We don't want a big conglomerate dental office coming here. Mom and pops have a hard time paying all these fees. But how do the code hasn't allowed to.
So we're really not talking about Dr. Grenier at all then. You need to reverse your fire, your police, and your park fees. They're part of our comp plan. We went through all those analyses in 2023, and then you'll need to not approve on August 20th the transportation impact fee. Because it's not Dr. Grenier. He can't show an exception from anybody else. He's exactly like everybody else. It's the fee. So if you don't like the fee, then let's talk about changing the fees for everyone. The standard needs to be applied to everybody equally. It's the only way staff can operate.
How long are your impact fees good for? 5 years?
They stand until you update them or get rid of them. And you should update them every 5 years. You should.
Okay, so.
And to that point, maybe I'm just behind the curve, but I've glossed through some of the emails. But it is that, what is, the email that I saw that I'm thinking of specifically.
I'm sorry, hold on a second. I'm very sorry. We're going to answer your question, actually. Your transportation fee is 78. So the transportation fee is $78,491.
And then police and fire combined is
Police and fire is $3,611, not $50,000.
What size water meter? Are you including your water and sewer?
Water, sewer,
So
all the
he's-
fees before I break
So he's
down.
actually talking about his connection fees, sewer and water. I thought we were talking about Midstar transportation impact fee. He's talking about his building permit fees. He's just saying, you're charging me too much.
Let me finish my thought. So we approve new impact fees. They're good for ideally 5 years. How much has been built in Star just in the last 2 years? So it's entirely possible that in 3 years, we won't need to be doing that enticement of business anymore because maybe we've gotten that initial kick that we wanted. But in the near future, we do need to allow exceptions so that we can bring these people, well, not bring you in, you're already here, but.
Well, I would say that what's important is if, that's fine, if council chooses to not do impact fees, you are not obliged to do impact fees. If you want to reverse them, that's fine, and that would be a standard for everybody. If tonight, though, you do a waiver, and we still have this standard that you've approved, and it's in our comp plan, now we got a problem. And so just be careful. Are we talking about Dr. Grenier and his connection fees, his impact fees, his building permit fee that pays for the electrical analysis, the building department analysis? Are we talking about that? Or
So, Dr. Grenier, do you have a breakdown of what constituted that 130K?
Sure.
Has that been communicated?
No, I have it on a spreadsheet. I could send it to you.
So I would like to understand what those fees are in specific. But what we talked about earlier tonight is how do we compare? I mean, I get which rules are
Yeah.
rules. We got to
gotta
apply
keep
the
a
rules
standard.
evenly, and we've got to do. We also have to build a real good commercial industrial business community. So where's the balance? What is it that we need to do? And so I don't know, with the numbers that I've got swimming in my head and lack of data, I'm not sure that we have enough information to really make an informed decision. I understand what you're saying. I'm a rules guy. I mean, I came from a rules community. We all understand that.
If we dig in, we can drag this out for another 5, 6, 8 months. I found out about this problem, when was it, April?
Something like that.
And trying to get traction on it since then.
What do you suggest?
So let's take some action on this tonight and then have an ongoing discussion moving forward about what we want the vision to be for the next few years to get commercial and industrial here. I don't want to get bogged down in the swamp.
Councilman Murray, we need the lawyer to speak to this, because what is your criteria for the waiver? What would your criteria be? Because he's a man as opposed to a woman? Because he's in town? We're just talking about, you have to have a criteria. So unless you can state a reason for the waiver, you need to stick with the standard.
Or can you get a waiver that's a one-time waiver without impacting future?
But why would he get a one-time waiver and then Jonathan doesn't get a one-time waiver?
That's why I'm asking you, if we do a waiver tonight, or we do something to mitigate the concern, does that make it a precedent going forward?
I know that Jonathan Eldridge is going to want the same waiver.
Well, of course, yeah, but based on the criteria that he's presented, which
Well,
I
Jonathan's moving his building to a new building, and he's going to lease
But
that out.
that criteria, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think that.
Jonathan's not building his building, someone else is.
Well, somebody else, but he is paying impact fees.
This is the same impact fee in the county too. Dr. Grenier's letter said if you don't give him a waiver, he will build on the other side of Emmett in Canyon County or at Kingsbury. They're in the Midstar impact fee program. The exact same $78,000 is going to be charged to him. The exact same fire fee is going to be charged, whether he's in the city or he's in the county. It's just that the county takes the money and puts it in their Midstar bucket for their projects, and we don't get it.
Okay. So I guess my question, Douglas, is if we make a waiver tonight or give some mitigation or some allocation for a change tonight, does that bind us forevermore in terms of precedent?
Sure. So the city code has a provision for an individual assessment, and it says that the applicant has to submit a study to justify whatever the deviation would be. And again, we were looking only at the transportation impact fee code because that's the one that I understood this was applicable to.
Yeah.
Under the code, the procedure is that there's a city council designee who basically meets with the applicant and reviews that study, and then the city has the option of hiring its own professionals to review the new traffic impact study and compare those. Because this hasn't happened in a while, as to my knowledge, there is no city council designee, so we just simply agreed with Dr. Grenier's attorney. I'm not sure if he's planning on presenting it all tonight, but to this format with you making the decision. So, if the question is, does this request for a fee waiver appear to comply with the application requirements for a fee waiver in the code, the answer is no. The individual assessment is non-precedent setting in the sense that someone couldn't come in and claim that because someone got one individual assessment, therefore they're entitled to one also. It's an individual assessment. The thing that we're trying to protect is twofold. One is, if the individual assessment, for example, we say we've got an individual assessment here and we're going to reduce the impact fees because we think they're too high. Well, now we're not really talking about an individual assessment. We're talking about the fee itself. And then the other thing is that the thing we're trying to protect against is, at some point, we have to be able to justify our impact fee and say that it was adopted appropriately and that the math was done right. And if we're regularly saying it wasn't, then that also creates a problem. So if the question is, will one impact fee waiver tank the city's impact fee program, the answer is no, it won't. But those are just things to keep in mind. And it ultimately is the council's decision either way. And you've heard from Roberta and from the applicant what their reasons are. But the only other things I wanted to say, I think, that I haven't had a chance to comment on yet are, to my knowledge, Roberta is correct. Simply having a tenancy turnover doesn't create a new impact fee obligation. And even if there was some TI that was triggering, you'd still only be looking at the difference in impact because the building already exists. So if it was 20%, it'd be 20% fee. But the city doesn't collect impact fees when new businesses move into Middleton. It collects impact fees when new buildings are built, because new businesses can cycle through at whatever rate they want to into existing buildings, and we don't go charging impact fees. It's just not how it works. Theoretically, you could try something like that. The code wouldn't permit it, but that would be a structure the legislature could adopt, something like that. It would be way more difficult to administer, and so the one that we have is that when a new building is built, we calculate it that way. So and as we move through here, I will be asking that we stick to the procedure outline. We're doing okay right now, but anyway, it is your decision. One individual assessment won't destroy the city's ability to collect impact fees. Having a basis that is specific to Dr. Grenier, whether or not it being an existing building that's relocating is you think it's a good reason or a valid reason or an invalid reason, that is at least unique, not just, well, we think the fee is the wrong amount. So if you do decide to change the fee, then I would do it based on that. But the request here and the thing that we're talking about is an individual assessment for an impact fee for traffic. It sounds like the $80,000 amount includes police and fire also. It's only was 6,000.
It was only 3,600 for police and fire.
So theoretically, you have $80,000 that you can do something with tonight. The remainder of those fees aren't being appealed right now. I'm not aware of any provision that permits an appeal of a sewer connection fee or a water connection fee or anything like that. But the impact fees themselves, you have authority over those. I would just ask that you be careful in terms of how you think about it and the impact it has on the validity of the impact fee.
So if we don't require him to get an individual assessment, we will be in violation of our own code. Is that
Sorry, what are you saying?
If we don't require him to provide an individual assessment with all the data that Roberta wants, then we will be in violation of our own code. Is that what you're saying?
So this is the individual assessment.
Yeah.
And there's a requirement for what the application contains, and those requirements have not been met. But whether or not it's a per se violation of the code to approve it absent those things is different from whether they're required. So theoretically, the council designee could determine that a traffic impact study was sufficient or insufficient. I wouldn't say that if you approve it, therefore you have violated the code in some actionable way. But it is also true that what was submitted was not what the code called for in an application for an individual assessment.
So it was an incomplete application.
Yes.
So it's still a mystery to me, and maybe I'm just way off base, is the difference between 130 and 80. What is that?
They're not including all the rest of the fees.
Okay.
You know,
but
hookup
those-
fees, all those things.
I understand, but those fees are consistent with everybody else, not just, that they are not germane to the impact fees.
So,
Not at all.
so hold on, they're not necessarily consistent with everybody. When you say everybody else, you mean
Well,
other
consistent
jurisdictions?
with, like you said, you're gonna go to somewhere else that.
Well, every city's different, so it's.
Yeah. So for example, if it was in a county where there was no sewer available, then you'd have to do some sort of septic system and take care of sewage on site through that. So there wouldn't be a sewer connection fee.
Okay.
And there wouldn't be, you'd have to get a well, there wouldn't be a water connection fee. So those fees may go away if there's a relocation, but they're not the subject of a modification tonight because they're not impact fees.
So in other words, that 50,000 is basically off the table for consideration for tonight. That's really the end
Yes.
statement.
It's the 80,000.
We're looking at
Yes.
impact fees
Yeah,
only.
the 80,000 is what we're considering tonight, not the 50,000 on
Right.
top of that.
All kinds of other fees. Tonight is only about impact
Does
fees.
that make sense to you?
We're not discussing the fire department's impact fee, because wouldn't that mean that Dr. Grenier needs to present his
Yes,
questions to the fire department's impact fee committee?
that's right. We
Okay,
didn't know it was
and
about
The
that.
same with the police department.
Yes.
Okay?
There's no
So there's
evidence
separate
documented.
entities, we're just using a pass-through to collect for them because they don't have that authority to require those fees be paid to them.
So yeah, that's true for fire. So I should clarify, police is of course a city.
Okay, right.
So are you kind of saying what I said earlier? We don't want to give a waiver on a fee that we would have to pay without money coming back in if it's a pass-through in that $80,000.
I would think you can't waive the fire's fee.
I think that likely the individual assessment language would still apply. I don't recall whether or not it would be heard by this body or not. You are the body collecting the fee. And so it may be the case that you would hear that the combined police and fire is 36, right? 33?
$3,600.
So I think without certainty on that, you can just basically ignore those two and do what you want to with the remnant fee for the traffic impact and still
The
accomplish.
traffic
what you
impact fee
hope
was
to.
what, 72?
I thought it was 78.
78,
78.
491.
The
But he-
individual assessment is just a recalculation of the rate of traffic showing up in place, right? That's what gets studied. And so instead of having 15 trips per hour for a dentist, you might be able to make a case you have 14. In which case you would get a slight reduction in your impact fee. So an individual assessment really is probably the difference between a $78,000 fee and a $68,000 fee.
Yeah.
Or a
But
And
so
it's
tonight you do
statutory.
have the ability to take action or not take action on that $78,000, correct? It
You
is.
could.
And Doug, one other thing that comes to mind is that we expect Canyon County and Star to also be collecting fees at this same rate as we are. And in fact, we put a moratorium on any development in Middleton because the Highway District Board was not able to connect those rates because of Canyon County's inaction. So we made a point of making sure that they collect those rates and didn't waive them so that it was even a fair.
Right. We did, because they wouldn't collect them, so we stopped everything, and now we're saying we're not gonna collect the same fee, the exact same fee. And he has not even paid impact fees on his first building.
That's a mute point. The first building shouldn't matter. It's
Yeah.
20-some years old.
And I'm sorry to disagree with you on that, but I think you're building a new structure that adds stuff, traffic, whatever. Whether it be used by the same entity or not, whatever you leave is gonna have another impact. But did you say you have a breakdown with that 78, what constitutes the impact fee? Is it one fee or is it they're separate?
It's one fee for dental office,
Okay,
based upon the study that you're going to be asked to approve in 28 days.
okay. Thank you.
Can I make a motion?
Well, here's my problem, and I'll be upfront and honest.
You didn't, it's an incomplete application, really. I mean, a traffic study, and we're dealing with traffic, is kind of crucial at this point to understand what the trips are.
Can I say something there?
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
love to.
I don't agree that it is an incomplete application. I'll just give you each copy of the paragraph that actually talks about that. It's actually a little it's a little ambiguous. It's paragraph E on the back. So it says individual assessment of impact fees is permitted in situations where the fee payer can demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence that the established impact fee is inappropriate for the project. That is the basis for the individual assessment. It does reference that I can submit at my own cost another traffic study to refute the city's traffic study, which I have chosen not to do because I'm not refuting their traffic study. My intent is to individually look at my situation and realize that I'm unique because we're an existing business moving our business location, and when we move, we are not increasing city services a single amount. We have the same traffic, the same sewer usage, same water usage. That is what I'm asking for, is to be given credit for our usage that we have now. We're not adding any impact to the city by moving our location.
By emptying the original location, I would argue that you are. You build a new structure that has services. Just because you move your present to that one, now opens this up to the services.
And this new, the new building will have
By
impact
virtue
fees.
of what's been built here, you just transfer the need for those services to a different location, if you want to look at it simply. That's my thought process.
Yeah, you can look
I know
at
what
it.
you're saying.
You can look
but
at it.
It is that you created new square footage that has traffic and whatever else associated with it. I agree with that. But you also have one that is now vacant and is going to have new services put in there. It
Right.
has. So you've transferred that to here, but it doesn't compensate for what's new
Right,
coming in.
but that building being vacated will have an impact. I actually talked about this specifically with Roberta. She told me
I saw that.
specifically that when the new building is repurposed, they'll have to apply for a building permit, and they can be assessed an impact fee at that time.
Yeah, I must have been wrong then, because that's not how we do it. I don't work in the building department, and I don't remember seeing that, but even if I did, it's wrong. The new building, even if it's remodeled, will not be charged an impact fee. City practice today is to not charge impact fees for remodels or tenant improvements at all. So the new dentist will move in, or whoever moves in and remodels, we're not going to collect any fees for impact fees. It's collected when the building is built. This one did not get those fees paid for, but typically yes. And it's collected one time, for all time. So he is making a new impact, and then when the new person moves into his building, that guy or gal is not going to be paying impact fees at all. They've already been collected. Theoretically should have been collected. So it is a brand new impact. It's a brand new impact.
Well, I'll agree with you on one thing. Impact fees are collected one time.
One time.
Repairing our relationship and our image to the commercial and development community, we lose one-time fee here, one-time fee here. It's an investment in our future. Now, granted, he's the existing business, it's not going to add to, but this will be the opening shot of us repairing that relationship, repairing that image with this community. And that is an investment in the future so that we can have our taxes lower. Dave and Danette can have their taxes lower. So that Susan and Mike can have their taxes lower.
So
We
it's just
have
this
to
one
do
time?
something.
Just this one time, or is the next one also, are we going to waive?
I say take action now and then start having the dialogue we should have been having all this time about what the plan is moving forward.
And that's great. And it's because it's an impact issue, not really a Dr. Kinnear issue. But if you're going to just do it this one time, be prepared for the other people. This is a public forum who are going to say, why did Dr. Kinnear get it the one time? Why
That's
him?
exactly the thing, is for the next few years, we should be offering incentives to as many people as we can. Yes, come to Middleton, we want to work with you.
We don't charge impact
Not,
fees.
we're gonna nitpick the shit out of everything you bring, and then you go to Star, or you go to Caldwell. take some action, do
2
something.
years ago, we had people in here, some of them are in this audience possibly, who were yelling at us for not making development pay for itself. And do you know the abuse and the things that people have said about planning staff and others for 2 or 3 years because we were having too many subdivisions in, development was not paying for itself, and we were the devil incarnate. And now, all of a sudden, it's reversed, and now planning staff isn't friendly enough. We're not developing easy enough. We're not helping developers enough.
There is a clear distinction between residential development and commercial and industrial development.
Is there?
Residential brings burdens to the community.
This conversation is deviated from, we need to continue talking about this application.
This
not general
application and
policy.
on the table is the traffic impact fee. 'Cause I'm not gonna take away from fire and all that, but it's written up as traffic. Not gonna waive fees for sewer because it's a new connection. There's a sewer connection over there that's gonna get used. If a daycare buys that building, that usage goes up compared to what he was doing. That's a fact, right? So I don't know what that building's gonna be. So in my mind, that's off the table. Connection fees off the table. In my head right now, the only thing I'm looking at is the traffic. That's $78,491 in traffic impact fees, not the whole deal. That to me should be what we're looking at here. I don't want to touch the sewer. He's buying into the system, right? He bought into the system there, but someone else is going to take that over, and it's going to be something. It's still going to be a burden on the system, water and sewer. So on the table, we got to discuss traffic impact. $78,491.
Did that include
current
fire?
fee.
It didn't?
No,
Okay.
just traffic.
Okay.
78, fire and police is $3,611.
Okay.
$78,491, if I remember correctly.
So, would you like to do the math yourself, Rob?
Say that again.
Would you like to do the math yourself?
Sure. I got a calculator. I can do math.
So for a dental office, it's that $10,063 times 7.8.
All right, give me a second here. I can do math this way. $7.8. Yep, I was right. And 40 cents. Don't forget the 40 cents. $78,491.40. That's what we're talking about.
So my point that I'm asking for is that our new location will have the exact same traffic flow. We're not going to increase our providers. We could only see the same amount of patients. We can't see. I can't be in more places than I am seeing patients. It's not going to change the traffic flow in Middleton by moving our location. So, I mean, and there's a mechanism in place to make an individual assessment credit for that. It can be credit for the usage that we already have with the city services.
Are
So
you
that's
asking
all.
us to not charge the whole 78,000?
No, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
asking to. I'm saying that to charge 1/3 of that.
1/3 of it?
Yeah, because that will be our increase if we have another dentist come in. We'll increase our city usage by 1/3.
We should make clear, though, the amount that you had in your letter, I keep coming back to it, that $50,000 is not for consideration. That is something that,
I understand you're not considering that at this point.
just making sure we're on the same page.
Council members, do you mind, I'm in charge for areas, I want him to be able to present, do you mind if I take just 1 minute?
Yeah,
Okay.
and council, when we're done having new information, then pursuant to the agreement with Mr. Larson, Dr. Grenier gets 5-minute rebuttal, which would be uninterrupted time for him to respond to everything that's been said, so he gets his due process that way. But
It's been kind of wild
Sure.
west here, so.
yeah, we are going to wrap up. I'm not going to let that go by without giving him that opportunity. But you're welcome to talk. I don't have any objection to you talking now. So
Yeah, you know, one solution, in my world, it's not all or nothing, right? In Roberta's world, it is all or nothing. The code is the code, and you cannot deviate. You know, the code allows for some deviation and some flexibilities. And Dr. Grenier didn't pay an impact fee on that original building, and I keep hearing the council members say, well, when somebody moves in there, that's the impact. So So may I propose a solution that you charge an impact fee to Dr. Grenier on his old building, not the new building?
What's the
Easy
square
solution.
footage?
It's a relocation.
What's the square footage?
I'm not.
Of my current building, 2614, I believe.
So it's obviously less. But I keep hearing the concern is there's gonna be an impact because someone's gonna buy that building and have business in there. So solve that problem by letting Dr. Grenier pay an impact fee on that old building. It's a relocation, right, it's unique. You don't have to open it up and say we have to treat everybody the same because not everybody's a relocation. Not everybody had a business here in the, so it's just something to consider.
He's not proposing that the city charge the old building an impact fee. He's proposing that they calculate the new fee based on the old
Based on the
building.
square footage of the old building. I got that. What is that number?
That's exactly a third of the,
Oh, it is 1/3.
so if you take 10,063.
Which, yeah, goes along with what we were proposing because we have room for one more dentist, so we'd have a third more use of it.
So your new building is gonna be 10,000 or 7,000 square feet?
Yeah.
And the building you're in now is 2,600?
2614.
So you're tripling the size, and you possibly may add somebody in the future.
Right, we have 2 dentists, we may bring another one in the future.
So what I'm hearing is you're gonna have more chairs.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, not initially, but we have room to add chairs for another dentist if we continue to grow. Correct.
You know, likelihood of you continuing to grow is pretty high based on the number of row stops.
Yeah, and that's why I proposed we get charged for our potential increase of use of city services.
Okay. So council would basically be a third either way. If we said the new dentist, that's a third of the impact fee. The square footage of his existing building would be essentially a third. Comes up with the same number.
Douglas, we need to offer 5 minutes rebuttal before we can make a motion, or?
When you're all done, you have no further questions for staff or any new information you want to add, then I would say let's start the 5 minutes. That way, we're not going to be adding things to the record that Dr. Grenier or his council won't have an opportunity to respond to. So when you finish that, and then you can still deliberate after that, but just we won't have new information.
And also, Douglas, just to help staff in the future, because we're always looking for standards, we follow the code. Please state, if you do allow this waiver, what is the criteria for it? Because then when the next permit comes in, I can at least say, well, you didn't meet the criteria that Dr. Grenier had. That's why I could say to somebody, we're going to charge this. So that would really be helpful. Please state that on the record. Why? And why the third?
Yes, my
So, council, it might take it that you're done asking staff questions and getting information. It looks like Council President Kaiser, you're still writing. I don't want to cut you off, but
No, you're good. I'm just, some thoughts, so we're good.
Okay.
Down the road.
So, yeah,
Do this rebuttal, there's no new information.
Yep, and obviously you or your council are welcome to speak during the 5 minutes, and we won't interrupt him during this time. So,
Okay, well, I appreciate the discussion. I mean, I think we all have the same common interest. We want to improve things for our city. We want to improve city services. You know, when we moved here 20 years ago, Middleton was ahead of Star in commercial development. I mean, we had the Ridley's, we had the Sunshine Restaurant, the old Ridley's. The only thing in Star was the Star Merc and the saloon, basically. Now look at it's totally flip-flop. I think Star has really invited a commercial environment to flourish, which we want for Middleton. We want city services. I think a lot of people actually go to Star for Middleton because we don't have development. And to the point of having a good reason, I'm not asking for something that's outside the code. I'm asking for our unique situation. I mean, I think there'd be very few other entities which built a building in the old system where there was not an impact fee. So charging a fee on my building because of that certain situation, I think is a perfectly legitimate reason to consider my proposal. So, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being advocates of improving the city, and thank you.
Okay. I got it written out. Do you want to do it?
If you got it written, go for it.
Okay. right, so if I miss anything in here, Douglas, please let me know. Okay. This is a new motion for me, so give me a second as I figure it out in my head. All right, then I move we approve the individual assessment of Dr. Ganier's relocation of his business regarding the transportation impact fee. The reason for the assessment would be the relocation of an existing business within the Middleton city limits. And I believe, and we charge 1/3 of the existing traffic impact fee for his new building. Did I leave anything out?
I think this was intended, but it's a relocation of an owner-occupied building to
Yes.
a new construction by that same owner.
Okay, so yes, that is the intent of it, so.
Yep.
Would say that the reasoning being it is an owner occupied business that is relocating within the city of Middleton. You know, still charge the 1/3 of the existing impact fee based on that criteria. Did I cover it better there? Good luck with that one.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
President Kaiser?
Yes.
Councilman O'Meara?
Yes.
Councilman Chris Jansen?
Yes.
Councilman Murray?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for your advocacy. Thank you.
Yep.
Back to the break.
All right. Before we do this next
Let's
one,
have a 5-minute break.
I'd like a 5-minute break to go to the restroom.
What time is it?
7:32.
It is 7:32, we'll take a 5-minute break.
That was a tough one.
Yes.
Make that motion sound good.
So they're going to be approving the transportation impact fees on this one. I'm wondering if we might need to consider,
I was hoping those were put out there. Just to look good. Well, Parks and Rec has a bowl of snacks in front of each one of the commissioners when we go to a meeting.
For what? There's no public comment. I know.
can find some online like recipes, and it's like salt and vinegar and whatever, and it'll kill them, but then it's nothing's growing there.
He said this to Kaiser, and basically because of the fees, if you accuse them of businesses. It's done, it's passed. It's done.
Well, there is that paragraph in the law that allows for what happens tonight.
Oh, yeah, granted.
But I agree with you that it's still too much for mom and pop to come and do something.
There were just one was
I have one other thing I need to, it has to do with a lady that's come here several times. Joellen Ringer. Okay, she had an issue with and the police.
Yes, yes. Me too, I took care of it.
Okay, well, apparently, the dispatcher was rude to,
The police went out, I called chief went out, they went out.
was it actually a badger or was it a hot
It wasn't
shot?
bad, but they think, the chief thinks it was a badger. But I talked to her, I called
It's
her.
not something that's common in the city.
No, but all
In
this
the,
construction,
oh yeah, things get displaced, but rock chucks are really prevalent. I've had them in my yard before. They're a nasty little booger for digging a big hole.
although she's very happy. I talked to her, then I took care of it, and I called her back, and she said.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because it had come to my attention. Okay? Thank you.
I do a lot of that.
I bet.
7:41.
Okay, it's 7:41, we are back.
Mr. Councilman.
Oh, we lost Bart.
Yeah, he'll be here. He's dealing with the tow truck driver.
Can
This
we
car
start
back
with
there.
Alexander?
Yeah, we
and
can
the
go.
three of you?
We got a
Oh, my
quorum.
goodness.
Okay. Time is 7:41. We are opening this for public testimony, hearing. I got notes here. A public hearing to take testimony regarding the city's determination whether or not to move forward with a judicial confirmation proceeding to authorize the city to incur debt for its wastewater system in an approximate amount of $78,558. Ms. Bonnie, please, NSBT law.
All right, Mayor and Council. So Miss Bonnie is our bond counselor. She has an injury, could not make it. So she is on the phone. We have Sheridan and we have Cameron here from Clearwater Financial. They're going to kind of be the liaison so that they can stand here, hold it, and Stephanie can explain to you a little bit about the process, and then we'll move forward. Sound good? Okay.
We'll need to turn that up. I can't
Hold
hear
on,
it.
Stephanie, hold on a second.
Stephanie,
Hold
one
on.
second.
The-
Turn sound.
I was gonna say, the microphone is, yeah.
Here,
We could set her,
Put it here, yeah.
put her right here, because that'll echo.
Right there?
On the,
Yep,
on
should.
the other side.
Okay, try that, Stephanie.
Is that better? Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So tonight is the date and time that the city scheduled to hear from the public regarding its consideration of whether or not to file a petition in district court to authorize it to incur indebtedness of an amount about $78.5 million in order to make wastewater improvements to its facilities in order to comply with DEQ permits. Just to let anyone know, the council can ask questions tonight, but it is forbidden by statute from deliberating or making any decision on this issue tonight. We'd be here to take public testimony. During testimony, staff is not allowed to answer questions, but if questions are posed during a person's testimony, then those questions can be answered once the public hearing is closed. Having said that, I'll let you guys guide me on whether or not there is anybody in the public that is here to testify on this matter.
Looks like we have one to testify.
Okay?
So are you done?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
if they just come up to the podium, state their name and address, and then they can provide their testimony.
What she said.
Council, were you able to hear everything that was said? There were some procedural things that I missed. If you're okay, I would take the phone and talk to Stephanie directly and let me hear what those procedural requirements are, and then we can make sure we follow them. I just don't want to miss it.
I know there's no, they're
They
gonna
sent me a
speak
step ladder,
only,
are you?
we're gonna listen, basically.
Good. Hey, you mentioned something about staff questions during the hearing that I missed.
There are no
Can you go
questions.
through what the procedure for what the requirements are for the hearing? Okay, so what you're saying is that you want the hearing to proceed with the people who are signed up with no responses or questions answered during that time. We'll then close the hearing and then questions can be answered. Okay, great, thank you much. I'll put you back on speaker and we'll get back by the microphone. Thanks, Stephanie. I'm assuming you all heard, but I reiterated what Stephanie said. So if someone wants to testify, they'll testify. If they have questions, they can ask questions. We won't answer those. We'll then close the public hearing, and then Stephanie or staff or the council can answer. But we'll keep the hearing itself and the testimony during the hearing, at least like one person, clear of dialogue. It will just be monologue.
And staff won't deliberate tonight.
Sorry.
Sorry, council will not deliberate tonight.
No.
They
she's no longer here, she couldn't wait. So, public hearing testimony is now closed, the time is 7:46.
Okay, thank you guys. We'll go ahead and move on, and then you will be discussing and deliberating this issue at your next city council meeting.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Is that it?
Great, thank you.
Let's make this.
Okay.
Okay, here's new, we're way down here.
Yeah.
So it says mayor
Oh, you
staff.
got public comments?
We did that, there was none.
No, this is different, this is open
Different, your
public
second
comment.
comments. Your,
Oh, wait, oh, a second sheet.
yeah, that's your other comment sheet for, you have two public comments.
This is one right after. Oh, up here. This is, let's see.
Public comments.
Okay. Public comment on non-public hearing item of city business, 3 minutes. Patrons will be called to speak at the podium based on sign-in sheet posted at the back of the public meeting room. Cindy Powell. Please, thank you.
Good evening, Cindy Powell, Canyon County. I just wrote questions because it's kind of all over the place. Number one, I just wrote down, maybe the public hearing should be in the beginning of the meeting, so people don't wait around and have to wait. Just a thought. The person that's going to monitor the city codes, is that the young lady that was sworn in?
Code enforcement?
Code enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. Is that going to cover weeds, noxious weeds?
From my,
It should, it's in city code.
yeah, if it's in city code, absolutely.
Okay, because she needs to understand that noxious weeds start out small, they need to be sprayed when they're small, which I'm sure everybody knows. But when you've got a puncture vine or goat head that spreads 6 feet wide, you don't spray it then. You cut it and pick it up and put it in the garbage. Sorry, because I've seen them all over sprayed, and they're just gonna bring you more weeds. This one, the roundabout that's supposed to go out on Middleton Road, at the Idaho Power juncture. Where is that at?
You mean as far as in construction?
Where, just getting
it done.
people to know about it. I know IMC has talked about it and they have agreed. I know Idaho Powers has agreed. The people across the street that are building that area that's gonna be like a 55 plus. I could be totally wrong. I was talking to the developer and he's the one that asked me about giving land from the corner of our cornfield.
Is Roberta still here? No, she's. Okay, Roberta just left and she's going on vacation. I
Okay.
will make a note and when she gets back, I'll have her call you.
Okay. That has been going on way too long. Is it true that you have a lawyer in the state of Washington or Oregon that's dealing with that?
She'll be able to speak to that.
Okay. Because that person has not gotten back to talk to the gentleman that's with our trust. Has not gotten any information to him about how much ground they're gonna take, what the plan's gonna look like, whether we have an easement that goes on to it. I know I'm always past my 3 minutes. So my concern is the time that it takes things to happen, and I think you kind of alluded a little bit there, Mr. Murray, in terms of getting things done. And talking to different developers that I've talked to, I'll be honest, they don't want to come to Middleton because they're held up. It costs money for them to wait for things to be done. And being a third of a possible land person that you may want to bring into the city, I would not want to do that because of the way it takes, so much time. I think that's, one last thing about a developer. Why would, or where does it say anywhere, I guess I should put, that a developer would be required to upgrade a bridge that is not even on their property? It's been in the city forever, and the city's done nothing about it. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I do.
Why would the city make that developer do that?
I'll have Roberta contact you on that.
That was the one on Hawthorne?
Concord.
Yeah.
Concord.
Okay, roundabout. And then I'll wait, I guess, for Roberta. Would I be able to come down and talk to her?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, my notes. Okay, I have no comments. Does staff have any comments they wanted to make tonight? No? Council?
I had asked last time we convened to have an item added to waive the, the peddler fees, whatever, the door-to-door fees for the cheerleaders at high school, because they were going to do a fundraiser. It didn't make it onto the agenda, so I would like to make a note again to have that added to the next agenda.
I thought that, I remember that, and you're absolutely correct. Can you put that down? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Councilman Christiansen.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a positive comment about Councilmember Murray and the folks that are participating in the Youth Council. I think it's a significant and very worthwhile thing that they are doing, and thank you for spearheading that. And then the youth that are involved in it, they went to the Capitol building. You may already know about it, but I got a Facebook from Councilmember Murray, met with Moyle, Speaker Moyle. He was their lead. And what an impression that makes on our youth. And I think it's so important to continue those things. And I applaud you and all those that are involved in that. It's such a good work, and I appreciate it.
Great. Okay, budget workshop.
Tim has it.
Tim has one. Oh, I'm sorry. First I only saw those.
That's okay. That's okay. Not a big deal. Appreciate the time, Mayor. First off, I'd like to show my appreciation for our city staff and this council adding the code enforcement officer and another officer. I think that's a huge improvement in our city, and I'm glad we were able to work it into our budgets. The second thing I wanted to bring up is an issue that is basically a core of the city issue. We have a requirement within our city that you cannot use city water to irrigate your lawn. And unfortunately, in the core of our city, because of the age of the system that is controlled by another entity, getting irrigation water to those properties is
challenging.
Extremely. And I've talked with Jason about it, and the solution is to come before us and ask to have that waived. And I don't have a problem with that, but what I see is the irrigation system that's in the core of our city, that establishment is not maintaining their structure, their infrastructure, and they have reasons for that. But I see in the future us having the same problem that Caldwell had with their irrigation system on Canyon Hill and having to take over that entity. And I just want to make sure that the council's aware that in the future, we're going to have a water issue through our city with that aging system. So I just wanted to bring that forward, make sure everybody else is aware that, you know, that system comes all the way down by the bank and through the core of our community. And some of it's some pretty old system.
I agree. I got so many phone calls. Jason Van Gilder.
You don't mind if I address that just a little bit?
No, I sure do not.
We have found one property in the city that actually had their access to irrigation water cut off. We've talked to them about working with the engineer and that having them use city water would be generally acceptable. I think our message is we'd like people to be investing in their local co-op system rather than switching to city water. City water may be cheaper in the short term and easier to do, but the right answer long term for the valley and for the water and for the city is we need to make sure those small irrigation systems keep working. People realize the importance of them and the willingness to reinvest in the small utility irrigation systems to make sure they have the funds to replace their facilities, to upgrade their facilities, and allowing people to just come off and come on to city water short circuits that whole process. So that's the message that I think I'd like to communicate to our people as long term, so that we don't get into another utility for the city to own and operate.
Well, I'm sure that in the future we're going to find some more of those old wooden pipes underneath one of our roads. Just never got upgraded.
Wait a minute. You're not joking? They're wooden?
Oh, there was, yes. We have found wooden irrigation pipes in the system in the past. During Mayor McKeever's office. And again with Vicky Thurber. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes before you and suddenly there's this leak in the middle of Main Street and you dig it up.
Pipe.
And it's a wooden pipe.
Or a pipe we don't know about.
Oh, yes, or a pipe we don't know about, and we hit it. Oh my gosh, where'd that one come from?
When they redid Main, they came through 44 with the compactor, the vibration, they said there was water. No one knew where it was coming from because no one knew there was a line down there. It was right by Viking Street.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Not that long ago.
It was Darren Taylor's.
Well,
Within the last administration.
Okay. Well, right now, thank you. Any more questions? So at this time, I'm going to ask the public to.
We have the budget workshop.
What? Did you see this thing? Yep, there it is. I will never allow them to do this again. Okay, budget workshop. Discussion on elected officials' wages. Well, tabled from 7/2 of 2025 meeting. Budget recap. Treasurer Ms. Miles.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Okay, so last council meeting, I believe we didn't have, Mark Christiansen was not available, right? And David Murray was on phone, you were on phone.
I was on the phone also.
You were on the phone.
I was unavailable.
Yeah, unavailable, yeah, okay. Anyways, I got the message from Mark that he wanted to look at council's. I have put in the budget a 6% increase, but I need direction from you, and I was asked to do up a comparison, which I've done. So the top part is 2025. That is current today. This is with our current medical, where all of council has elected to take the stipend, and that stipend is in lieu of medical insurance, and so that increased your gross salary. And then it looks at the taxes paid by the employer and the perceived benefits paid by the employer, and the total cost of elected officials in 2025 is $147,963.36. So now we're switching our medical insurance. It's one of those plans where we're not allowed to offer a stipend. Every employee is required to come onto the plan unless you are Medicare eligible or have TriGuard. Otherwise, you're on our plan as an employee only. You're not required to bring your entire family on. So my next grouping is the 2026. The stipend goes away. This is with a 0% increase in salary. There's two open, there's going to be elections this year in November with 2 seats that could possibly be filled with different people than who sits here today. And they might be wanting to put their whole family on the plan. So I have to look at our budget as if that's the case, that the election goes forward and 2 new people are sitting on this board and they're bringing on their whole family. So whatever the max cost it could cost the city is what I have to budget for. So at that, with no pay increase, that's a $12,000 difference just because of the cost of the medical insurance with a family going on, two individuals going on. The next group that I have done is at a 4% increase. This is what the employees are getting, a 4%. So I did a 4%, and I looked at that. And the number in between, because I believe, Mark, you wanted to know the gross salary. No, you wanted to, okay. I also did that. That's the little number at the bottom. I don't have a pointer, but do you see this number right here where it's $25,000 difference here? That is looking at the gross. So that's looking at your gross wage with a stipend and then your gross wage without the stipend. So that would be a reduction of $22,000 with a 0. Thank you.
I don't know, I don't remember asking that question, but.
That's what I understood, so maybe I didn't understand right.
Okay, well, it's a good thing to know.
I just tried to give you everything that I could think of that you might want. So that's that number right here. This number over here is taking what the total cost fully loaded is, the differences, right? So from this one to this one, what's the difference, right? Or from what we're doing today. So the next one I did at the 6%. Now the 6% is what I currently have in the budget, but that you guys get to tell me and I'll change that. At the 6%, total cost is $167,000. It'll be a $19,000 increase from 2025. At a 10% increase, you're going to $171,589 for total cost, a difference of $23,600. And then I've also done it at a 15%, at a 20%, and at a 25%. Then on the last page down at the bottom, can you go to the bottom? We reached out, or we looked on other cities, what's that called, Monica? Their resolutions or? Yeah, so what their resolutions, what these cities are paying their elected officials. So I've broken it down by population, most populated on down. I highlighted where Middleton falls, and I'm showing you what the mayor is making. Here's the mayor, what mayors are making in these different cities, what councils are making, and if they pay their council president, like Middleton pays their council president a higher wage than the other seats, then we have those here. And then this last column here is their populations. So I wanted to give you as much information as I could give you to help you determine what you would like to see your increase be for the next budget year.
So when was the last time the pay was adjusted for the mayor and for council members? And Council President, when was the last time there was an adjustment on
About 4
the
years.
current rate?
Yeah, so Mayor Rule had an adjustment in his term.
Okay,
I've only been with the city for 5.5 years, and council has never taken an increase in that time, in my time.
okay.
And so.
And has that stipend always been a possibility for council members prior?
No, that stipend came in, it came in, when did that come in, Rob?
So the last raise,
Okay, so I know what happened. So we had a grandfathered plan.
yes,
We had a great health insurance plan that had been with the city for a super long time, and it was, the prices were constantly going up and going up and going up and going up. And we didn't want to lose it because it was a low deductible, $250 deductible. You know, it was I don't know if it was a 90-10 plan or what it was, but it was a great plan. And so the city tried for as long as it could afford to keep that insurance, but they just outpriced us to where we just couldn't do it. And so at that point is when we had to go to a higher plan and everything, and then at that time the city administrator didn't take the insurance, and she was looking at it, yeah?
No, I finish, I'm just sitting here patiently.
And she felt that a stipend should be given to employees who had insurance through their spouse and wasn't taking the city insurance. And so
basically
that's when
saving
the
the city some money,
stipend came to be.
so.
So I personally don't even want to talk percentages until we talk about making up for the loss of the stipend. I mean, you can, however long it's been here, however it came around, it's been here as long as I've been here. And if we don't make up for that, which is almost half of what I make, and I think you guys are all with stipend too, we're losing about 50% of our pay. So what the hell does it matter if we raise it 8%? If we've already lost like 47%.
The stipend is in lieu of medical, so it was to help you offset the cost of your medical that you might be paying through your spouse.
I get that.
But now we had to take that away, so we're also taking it away from the employees.
Well, I'm not arguing about why the stipend went away, why it came here. I'm just saying, if we don't address that, and all we're doing is voting to gut ourselves. And I'm sorry, but I work for my money, and I don't think anybody in this room would disagree with that. It's not exactly great economic times.
That's your decision, so I probably didn't take this up high enough, because if you look at the, can you scroll to the very bottom at the 25%?
Well, why don't we just look at setting ourselves somewhere between Garden City and Star? Garden City is almost identical to us in terms of population. Star is our sister city right down the road.
Well, the other issue is Garden City has a lot of commercial and has a larger revenue base, and we do not.
Well, right now, with the stipend, we were already at $13,086. So that's already in between Garden City and Star.
You guys tell me what you want,
But
and
the-
I will come back to you probably, well, we'll have to figure it out probably tonight, what will go away.
Because the cost difference now is the fact that the city's got to pay for that insurance. So that in lieu of wasn't, I mean, it was a portion of what the city would be paying in insurance for all of us, obviously, I think we all take it. But now, even with the raise, doesn't matter, even if we don't take a raise, it's gonna go up because now everybody has to be insured. It's gonna jump up another $12,000, if I read that right. $12,372 goes up just because of the insurance. So that's where I look at the difference there being, and just looking at our budget and stuff, but I mean, that's a $12,000 increase just because of the insurance people. So, I mean, I understand the loss of the stipend. I mean, it is, literally, it's half.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Many of the employees are losing their stipend too, but they're getting a 4% raise. But they've been getting 6%, 5%, 8% over the last few years, and you have not. Rather than even talk stipend, should we just talk about bringing your wage to a fee or a number that is good for 2025, for what you do? And
2026.
2026. Well, I'm basing it on today, you know, but today's world is,
Yes.
Star is what, 9,000, is that what I saw?
Yes, Star is paying their, oh, no, that's Emmett. Emmett is paying 9,000 to their councilman.
Okay, Star is, what is Star paying?
Star is at 14,400.
Okay.
And Garden
Garden
City's at 10,200 with their council president making 11,000.
And if they, and Middleton is at 6,300.
600.
Or 600, and
9,000.
if you multiply 250 times 12, that's 3,000.
I just like to remind everybody, because I think everybody else here on council, your kids are grown, you're empty nesters. I'm not. I've still got 3 kids in the house, so if I lose $6,000 a year, that's $6,000 that my kids are doing for food,
I thought
for
it was
softball,
3.
for whatever they want to do. It's not a small thing.
What's the stipend? How much is it a month?
A month is 500.
Oh, 500, so it's $6,000.
Yeah.
It's not the 250.
It's half of what they make right now. The stipend was very generous.
Yeah, so if you just take a look at the total council payroll, fully loaded, fully burdened, today is 15,000, I didn't have my glasses, 15,680 if I'm reading that correctly.
I don't know which line you're on.
We're on the very top today, 2025.
Today, the 147,960.
No, I'm looking at the individual council member, 15,000.
Yes.
680,
Okay, yes.
Okay, 15,000. Okay, so if you look at even the 27%, that totally for not considering if somebody's on the payroll, or excuse me, on the insurance or not, it's 9,885.
That's still not taking the insurance, yeah.
Yes, so if you take that from the 15 whatever, that's $6,000 in difference that would have to be allocated through the course of the year to even come up with what it is that we're getting today. So with the stipend included, so I don't know if that gives any food for thought and how to allocate that, but that would just be getting us even state with what we have today. So the reason I asked the question about, it's been a long time since there's been any adjustment to pay in general. And I personally don't like asking for pay raises. I never have liked it, I don't, especially when you're in public service. But that then compared with the other cities, I don't think it's unreasonable
I agree.
to suggest that we at least, well, I don't want to say at least equal, but we don't want to lose money today from what we are today. Income, I know the source, it's what it is, but it's still money in the pocket for the council members and the mayor. So, I don't know. I mean, the thought process on there, what numbers can we adjust to do that? Would it be the current salary? And I'm a little, I know that why you have to put the as if 2 people are insured. I get that for budgeting purposes. But it does really kind of skew the numbers in terms of the discussion on what.
It does, but are you, I mean, we know that one council member is not running again.
No, I get it for budgetary reasons. You've got to
Right.
cover it in case that happens. But
Right.
in terms of comparison, apples to apples to today, the number on the right-hand side, the 8%, 13,
Well,
that's not a
Well,
real
you're
number.
changing insurances, so the whole structure is changing, so it's very hard to
No, I
compare
get that.
apples to
No, I
apples
understand.
when everything
I'm
is
just saying, we're trying to compare apples to apples so that we can
Yeah.
figure out how to adjust for what we.
So I'm gonna take this as Wendy's endorsement of me winning because I don't put my kids on the health plan, therefore I save us money. You're welcome, Wendy. Thank you for your vote.
I don't live in limits. Anyway, so this is 100% your decision. You guys need to tell me what number I am putting in the budget.
Raise the council pay across the board to 12,200. And don't have an extra stipend for the council president
I mean, I say that now, but ain't gonna be sitting here, so I can say that. Treat it like others. Middleton, Garden City, and CUNA are the only one. CUNA and Meridian have a little bit more for the council president, which is fine, but most of them do not. So if we went 12-2 across the board to make it easy peasy right there, that,
12,200 a year, is that what you're saying?
yeah, well, council, your thoughts on that? I'm just trying to split the difference between Garden City and Star.
It's fine, and I'd like to state for the record that that's still losing us about $100 a month, so nobody can accuse us of raising our salary. We are still losing money, but yeah, I'll support it 12-2.
Just each council, nothing for, take the president, extra stipend out for that, just make it across the board, 12-2.
Certainly your call, but, you know, you do have extra hours and things. So
I
part
don't
of the
care.
job.
It is part of the job, but it is what it is, and then that way there it's easy to figure with it right there. And then in however many years, if they want to change it, they can change it.
I believe it's every 2 years? 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, if you want to give the council president a raise, then give him a raise. But
So you came to that figure with dividing.
I just went in the middle between Garden City and Star.
Okay.
So Star's at 14.4 and Garden
Yeah.
City's at 10.2.
10-2, so I figured 12, or what'd I say? Did I say 12-2? It'd be 12, basically 12-4.
Yeah.
Or you
12,400.
could move it to 13, which would then pretty much equal what we've got today.
So 12-4,
So
it's a $600
13 would be
difference.
even, Stephen, what we have today, and I still think that might be defensible if we get.
So you're saying 13, you're saying 12.2?
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out for
Okay, so I
discussion.
just, when
Yeah.
you guys
We just
decide
I know,
what
I know,
numbers you
I know.
want on the budget.
No, I get it. I'm looking at you, but I'm not talking at you, I'm
Okay.
talking to council.
At 12-4, it's a reduction of $50 a month.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Tim?
Yeah, I guess I could live with that. Certainly wouldn't want to in-debt the city anymore. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yep. Councilman Murray?
Sold.
Sold? All right.
And what about
Mayor.
Mayor?
Oh.
I have no children at home, and I don't need an increase. And in 2 years, if I choose not to run, the new mayor, if they choose at that time, they can raise it at that time, but
So you would like to see the mayor's salary stay exactly the same?
So, and then I would recommend that in 2 years, that mayor's salary gets revisited.
yes, yes.
Just for the simple fact, if you choose not to run, then we obviously want to track
Yes,
the candidate accordingly. So
yep.
I would revisit that in 2 years' time.
And that salary is already a salary between Garden City and Star, too, so. Okay, so I've got my marching orders, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You just smacking it all over.
Then the other thing I
I don't know about you guys,
provided,
but I'm glad this done.
Yeah.
because this is our last time that we're talking about the budget, when I come to you guys in August, it will be a PowerPoint presentation, and it will outline everything that I'm going to go real quick over this budget recap. You guys all got this budget recap? I know you're tired and you want to go home, and I am too, so.
Oh, it does say a budget recap. You always sneak things in on me.
Yeah, it's good though, because this, let me remind you, I started this process in March for this budget. And I met with our department heads within the city from April through May. And then in June, I come before you guys and we work together on what your staff has chosen as the projects, and we come and sit with you guys and get your blessings. And if there's anything that you guys like to see from the projects that your public works director and your police and everybody who's come, as we brought this to you, that's your time to say, this is your time to say whether there's something that we don't have in the budget, right? Because last year you had a council discretionary fund. That, I do not have a council discretionary fund in this budget.
You do not have one?
I do not have one. That was unusual to have that. That's the first year that that's ever been provided or asked for. The whole purpose of a budget is that we plan a budget and we come together and we say, this is our plan. When things outside of that come up, then that's evaluated at that time, and then usually it waits until October of that year. So in 26, a new budget will be October of 2026. And if an emergency comes up, then we figure out what we're going to do at that point. But that discretionary money was pulled from savings. Now, we sold enough building permits that we didn't actually pull it from savings, and it was used for different things. But the purpose of doing this is to have us in line with forward thinking. And we have to consider different things. Things change, like the projects. We might be thinking that we're going to do one thing and then something changes and we go a different direction, but we come before you and we say, you know, this isn't, and you ask the question, is that in the budget? And we say, yes, it is, or it isn't. And you say, if it's not in the budget, where is it coming from? And then usually your public works director says, we're not going to do this on the, I don't know what kind of example to give you guys, but you know what I'm talking about because it happens a lot, right? So.
Well, can we pause and talk about the discretionary fund for a second? Because I think it gave us a flexibility that we never had before to take care of things that pop up, early in the fiscal year, next fiscal year. We shouldn't have to wait just for the next fiscal year because
it's usually not that long of a wait. And so.
We wouldn't have 2 dogs right now with the police force.
I mean, it gave us a flexibility that we never had before. Where people come to us and say, this is a problem. We can go, okay, what, that's 8,000? Okay, take it from here. Now that problem's done. We don't have to wait 9 more months,
Yeah, that's how much was the discretionary fund?
You had $100,000.
100,000, but we'd have to pull that from savings.
But we still have some of ours left from this year. So how much will we have to draw to get it back to that 100? We're at, what are we at, like 20, 25, something like that?
You're at 24,000 remaining.
Okay.
But you're going to waive fees for some Girl Scouts, so that's going to come out of that.
It's a one-time charge for the high school cheerleaders. It's the peddler's license.
Yeah, but it's a background check that we have to pay. The city has to pay.
That we pay $100.
Someone's got to pay it.
$100 a person.
100 per person.
It's 50 to 54.
Oh, sorry.
50 to 50
per person.
per person.
Yeah, the number.
So the money's got to come from somewhere. So a couple $100.
Jesus, I'll adopt a couple of cheerleaders and pay it for them if it will get rid of your heartburn, Wendy.
It's not me. It's not me, but I can't. So then you tell me, what is your discretionary fund that you want to see in this budget? Because right now it's not in there.
The same.
Agreed.
We'll roll over whatever we don't spend, we'll roll over. So just to make the difference.
Can't do
No,
that.
let's not roll it over.
Why can't you? So if it's not spent, where does it go?
It goes back into.
Okay, so potential is then essentially when
You
we
want to keep the difference?
look at just do the difference.
Well, or just leave $100,000 in this budget.
Well, I guess if that's how
And
it
then
works
you
for you,
always
but
would
it's
have that.
always, because whatever's not
Start
spent,
fresh.
that's the problem that I see is that if this month I don't spend $400, that doesn't mean it goes away forever. It goes to now I have more money to spend, basically, right?
Are you just saying the mechanics of calling it a rollover makes it messier than just budgeting $100,000 next year?
Exactly.
That's all.
But we're not budgeting
Yeah.
100,000 well, I guess okay,
Or-
whatever works for you. 100,000 then.
Okay.
That's what you want, okay.
It confuses, you people with numbers confuse me.
Sorry. Okay, so let's go over this real fast. This is going to be
Okay.
a recap of where the budget sits now. Of course, some things are going to be changing, but I'm not going to go with those.
Okay.
So our property tax rate increase, we'll go over revenues first, is we're expecting 8%. Our water base use and connection fees will increase by 5%. Our sewer base and use rates increase 25%. Sewer connection fees will not increase, they stay the same. Building and impact fees based on a 350 residential building permits is what I budgeted. Transferring funds from savings to the general fund of $500K for a land purchase. Now that's going to be $600K. Land purchase and then water funds, we're having $916,000 come out of savings to do the well 4 painting. We have a cash carry forward in streets of $360K for the new sweeper. That's revenue. Capital expenses, transportation capital is going to be $1.3 million roughly. Engineering is $481,000. Projects include sidewalk improvements and extensions. Roundabout center construction for Middleton Road and Sawtooth, and land purchase for Quarry Roundabout. Water capital is $2 million. Engineering is $148,750. Projects are the well 4 tank painting, water tower safety remediation, and shop expansion. Sewer capital treatment is $28 million. Collections is $532,000. Engineering is $3.6 million. Projects are construction of new treatment plant expansion, removal of biosolids, lagoon filling, backup generators for lift station at Park Place. Prospect lift station is getting rehabilitated. Boise River lift station expansion. Stormwater is engineering $80,000. That's the swells reports and plan updates. In the general fund for capital, we have police at $190,000, public safety at $36,000. Engineering for general fund is $535,000. Building is $58,000, and parks is $448,000. Engineering for parks is $96,000. The for police is for new vehicles and a new vehicle for public safety, and saving for city hall, and new mower for the parks, and new pickleball courts at Middleton Park Place. Then we have the elected pay, so that's I'll figure out what that percentage is. And then we don't anticipate any new hires in 26. And then our health and dental care decreased by 2.8% cost, and Percy will have no changes. Liability insurance is increasing to 15%. Our total budget for fiscal year 26 is looking at like $55 million. This is a 97% increase over 2025's budget. This increase is due to the wastewater treatment plant expansion project. That is the high level. Any questions?
Thank you, Wendy.
Anything popping in your head that you...
I just got some hot air leaking out of my ear here, but that's
Okay, so when
Councilman O'Meara, you have a question?
Are we planning for an increase in the cost of the fireworks display next year that we will be putting on at the school?
What do you mean
over
we?
our property?
What do you mean we?
Well,
The city, there's nobody here that,
the city already budgets for fireworks, a small portion of what's going on.
A small portion? Is that a small portion?
That is a small portion, okay? We also work with the Parks and Recreation District to fund that, and the people that were volunteering to put on the fireworks display are planning on retiring from that. So I want to plan that we are providing pyrotechnicians for that display, which is a huge cost over the actual fireworks themselves.
so you said the 17,000 that we contribute is a very small amount?
In the large budget,
And
yes.
you want us to take on the whole amount?
No, I want
Okay.
you to be prepared for having to pay for pyrotechnicians rather than having volunteers, or come up with volunteers to take over something that the original people are aging and cannot continue to do.
I thought they
And I
had,
think we need to plan for it.
I think they had other people stepping in to help ignite things younger.
I haven't
Last
seen
year.
it yet.
I saw pictures of 2 of them.
But 2 doesn't.
No, I know, but I'm
doesn't
just saying
supply
that's
you with
only-
a qualified electrician.
I mean, I know they've been getting other people involved in that, but boy, to take over the whole shooting match
Well, every
with a
every
pyrotechnician.
city in this valley comes across it sooner or later. I just want us to be thinking about it and preparing for it.
General fund.
Yeah, that is, because they also have fundraised and everything else for it.
Sure.
So now the city's gonna take on the role of fundraising too? I mean, that's just, that's a lot.
No, it is a lot, and I agree, but we're not planning for taking on any part of that if we're not talking about it now. Okay, so.
Is this for next year?
We don't want to get hit in the face with it later on as, oh, well, there's no more
Where's that
fireworks in Milton.
$100,000?
Yeah, that's,
I'm sorry, I was done with you. But I
just
did
saying.
only have 17,000 budgeted again for 26 for that. We've slowly been going up each year and
Well, the
this.
price of the material goes up every year,
Yeah,
so.
so what number do you want to see, council as a whole, what number do you want to see taxpayer money going to fireworks for? How much?
I think we should be somewhere in the $25,000 area, budgeted, and whether we spend that much or not is secondary. If we don't spend that much, we carry it over and put it into the next year's fund. But I think we better be planning for it now. That's all I'm bringing up.
25,000, that doesn't pay for a pyrotechnician.
No, it doesn't, but it certainly moves in that direction.
You're talking, what, 80, 90,000 for a pyrotechnician to come in and do it all?
Probably.
How much? How much did you say?
80, 90,000.
He's not suggesting that.
To turn it over to a pyrotechnician.
No, I'm
I
not,
saw your
I would
eyelids
not.
start to
I'm
twitch.
like, I think
I would
we need to have
absolutely say no.
layoffs and,
I would say we budget 17,000 for the fireworks, like we have, and the additional 8,000 he's proposing that if we need it at that time, you have a general
We can
fund.
pull from the discretionary.
Pull from
Yes,
the discretionary.
yes,
okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not licensed, but I'm good at blowing stuff up.
It was
You used to do it professionally, actually.
It was pyrotechnician, not pyromaniac.
Okay. Clear definition change there, yeah.
The lines are blurred, probably.
Okay, so when I come with you guys, I'll try and have all this figured out, how we're gonna get all this in there. And it'll be a balanced budget. And then you will tentatively approve that budget at the next time that I come before you. And then after that, we'll have a public hearing and it's the adoption of the
budget.
appropriation of the budget.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I mention something? So the timeline for the next 2 meetings, on the 8th is when Wendy will come with the tentative budget to be adopted. Also during that meeting will be the impact fee study will be presented by Kittleson to be reviewed and adopted that night. Then what happens at the next meeting, the second meeting in August, is our public hearing. So the public hearing would be, first would be impact fees have to be the public hearing for that. Then that is approved. And then the fee schedule, the new fee schedule, public hearing for that, then that is approved. Then the budget at the end, public hearing for that, and then that is approved. So all the things that Wendy's showing, those are gonna be in a sequence so we can make sure that we approve them in logical order for our combined public hearing. Just kind of as a heads up of what's gonna happen in the next 2 meetings.
And the cheerleaders.
And the cheerleader, I'm so sorry,
I thought you
I
had
thought
that on
Rob
this.
had talked to, we already figured it out, so.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Oh, okay, at this time, I'd like to have the public exit the chambers. We're going to go into executive session.
All right, hold on, let me just get my papers so I can make a motion.
I
wish. All right, I move we go into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code and possible decision to follow Idaho Code 74-206, Prin 1, Prin C, land acquisition.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Council President Kaiser?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Meara?
Yes.
Councilmember Chris Jansen?
Yes.
Councilmember Murray?
Yes.
All right, as soon as they leave, we are in executive session. Well, let's wait till they turn everything off. Do you have every